Alright, let's fucking start this show. Bunch of bullshit happening today. Already. Let me double check my stuff real quick. Bunch of bullshit happening today. Yep, it's working. Alright, let's go to YouTube. I want to check out some dumb shit that's been happening around the fucking world. Let's see. Nick Fuentes calls out Roger Jackson and backs for violence. So yeah, I saw that one earlier. Deschanel is around. Main concern about Battlefield. What's this? 8-year-old boy killed in Catholic shooting. Fuck.
More breaking news. We're getting our first look at one of the victims who was killed in the Minneapolis Catholic school church shooting. This is 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel. He was gunned down yesterday. It comes as we learn disturbing new details about the investigation. ABC's Christian Cordero has the very...
Yeah, so apparently it was a teacher that or some type of staff member that worked there. And it was their kid that did the shooting?
Latest on the
That's
investigation.
fucking crazy.
Today, flowers and toys are placed outside the church at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, where police say a shooter opened fire yesterday during morning prayers, killing an 8-year-old
Fucking gender swapper, dude. God damn.
and a 10-year-old. This mother tells us her 13-year-old son was in the church when the shooting started and ducked under a pew, using his body to shield and protect a first grader. Both survived uninjured.
Jesus Christ, dude. A little kid has to protect another kid from a fucking retard shooter? Dude, oh my god, dude. Oh, so bad. So bad. Alright, let's see the Minneapolis debrief.
I want to begin today's briefing by addressing the horrific shooting that took place yesterday at the Annunciation Catholic Church in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where a deranged shooter opened fire during morning mass, killing an innocent 8-year-old and 10-year-old. 14 other children and 3 adults were also injured during this horrible tragedy. This was the first morning mass of the school year for these beautiful, innocent children, and this sacred religious service was desecrated by an evil monster. We are all eternally grateful to the heroic law enforcement officers and first responders whose courage and swift response aided all of those impacted by this horrible tragedy. As Director Kash Patel confirmed yesterday, the FBI is currently investigating this shooting as an act of domestic terrorism and a hate crime targeting Catholics. President Trump signed a proclamation yesterday following his call with the governor of Minnesota, Tim Walz, acknowledging the victims and their families and directing flags to be flown at half-mast. President Trump and the First Lady encouraged the entire nation to join all of us in praying for the victims and their families as they face unimaginable grief and loss.
Thanks, Caroline. I have 2 questions for you.
Sure.
Democrats, including former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, attacked prayer and pushed gun control in the aftermath of yesterday's shooting. What's the White House's response to their comments?
Yes, I saw the comments of my predecessor, Ms. Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful.
Disgusting is what it is, bro.
Deride the power of prayer in this country, and it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves, who need it right now more than ever.
My second question for you is that there have been media outlets who have glazed over the fact that the shooter was confused in their gender identity. Does the administration believe that this element needs to be investigated in the shooting?
All of the elements are being investigated in the shooting, absolutely. Which is why part of the reason the FBI director came out and immediately confirmed that facet of the investigation.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions on the shooting. What's the administration's message to some concerned parents across the country who might be now worried about their kids' safety in light of the latest incident?
We completely and totally understand the concerns of parents across the country. This tragedy it's heartbreaking. As a parent myself, there are no words to describe just the heartbreak that these families must be enduring, which is why the President and the First Lady have encouraged everyone to continue to pray for these families and these victims. And it's why this administration is focused on removing public safety threats from our communities. And in fact, I can share with all of you that last night in Washington, D.C., when arrests were being made, there was an arrest of a juvenile right here in D.C. in Ward 7 for threats to kidnap and injure, receiving stolen property, possession of a large capacity feeding device, unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition. A search warrant was executed, 7 firearms were recovered, and the juvenile was arrested after an investigation was initiated based on social media posts allegedly threatening violence towards a school. So this was a juvenile who was a risk to not just himself, but the community here in Washington, and he was removed from the community last night because of the law enforcement efforts of this administration. And I would also point to the statement of our wonderful First Lady that she released yesterday. She wrote, "The tragic mass killing in Minnesota illuminates the need for preemptive intervention in identifying school shooters. Early warning signs are often evident, with many individuals exhibiting concerning behaviors and making violent threats online prior to their actions. We encourage all Americans, as the old saying goes, if you see something, say something. If you see warning signs or threats, report it to law enforcement." This administration, federal law enforcement, will take those reports and those threats seriously. They will be treated as a law enforcement emergency, and we will act accordingly.
And on the First Lady's statement, would the administration consider ramping up resources on these fronts to parents and schools across the country to help them look into these signs and prevent more tragedies?
It's a very fair question, Iris. As for any potential future policy decisions or funding questions, it's just been over 24 hours since this tragedy occurred. Right now, we're focused on the FBI and their investigation and uncovering all the facts, and we'll leave those very important.
Fucking A. Chilling update just released regarding shooters.
Today's video, we have a major update regarding the mass shooting that took place in Minneapolis, Minnesota, including disgusting coverage from CNN and MSDNC. In this video, as usual, we'll show you what both sides are saying and then give you the bottom line.
Fucking hell.
There are no words that can capture the horror and the evil of this unspeakable act.
A tragic and deadly start to the new school year after a shooter opened fire during a Catholic school mass in Minneapolis.
This was a deliberate act of violence against innocent children and other people worshiping. The sheer cruelty and cowardice of firing into a church full of children.
After the suspect, armed with a rifle, shotgun, and a pistol, began firing through church windows, sending bullets and glass raining down onto elementary school children.
These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in.
Fucking dude, trans people are fucking unhinged right here. Okay, not all trans people. This fucking gender swapper was crazy.
A church.
Fucking asshole.
These are kids that should be learning with their friends.
Hope that nigga's burning in hell, bro. Fuck that fool.
They should be playing on the playground.
Students described the moments of terror before being reunited with their parents.
I heard something like really loud, like I thought it was fireworks in the church, and then I saw the shooting, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so scared.
Okay, so we've been down this road before, unfortunately. And we already know what the reactions are going to be. It's usually standard. If the shooter is someone that actually leans left, like in this case, who happens to be trans and absolutely hates President Trump, what the left is going to do is try to minimize those details and chalk it up to just another tragedy and more gun control. That's what they're going to do. And of course, conservatives are going to say, hey, we got to address this mental illness issue. And a lot of the mental illness in this country is coming from what's happening on the left and how the elected leaders and how mainstream media covers the news that is pushing a lot of negative ideas in the minds of people to the point where they're deciding to take matters into their own hands and do things like this. Now, before we go any further, let's hear more details on who the shooter actually is.
Fucking
Police
trash.
say the suspect, 23-year-old Robin Westman, fired dozens of rounds from the 3 weapons. Investigators say they're looking at an apparent manifesto left by Westman.
It's like
court records from Dakota County, Minnesota.
Yeah, it's like an 11-minute video of something like that, right? Like telling what she's gonna she was whatever the fuck it is gonna do tomorrow.
To show a then 17-year-old called Robert Westman was granted a name change to Robin in 2020, with the court writing, quote, "Minor child identifies as a female." While Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem posted on X saying in part, quote, "This deeply sick murderer scrawled the words, 'For the children' and 'Where is your God?' and 'Kill Donald Trump' on a rifle magazine. This level of violence is unthinkable."
Some people might be asking the question, why would someone do something like this? Guys, it's a sickness of the mind, and it happens through the repetition of negative ideas that people actually emotionally buy into. So this negative idea that President Trump is Hitler, President Trump is going to destroy our democracy, President Trump this and President Trump that, it's negative ideas through repetition is being impressed upon people on the left. And because they lack critical thinking skills, they accept it as fact. And what happens emotionally is they get out of control. Now, let's look at Ground News as an example of that type of rhetoric. This happened just on Monday, 2 nights ago. Tiffany Cross calls Stephen Miller a white supremacist. Point blank, she says it out loud. No pushback, no, hey, don't say things like that. They just go ahead and allow her to say it. And I'm going to show it to you. But the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because we call out this mess on the right. But on the left, they don't like to police speech from their own people. Now, as you guys know, we use Ground News because we love to see the full picture of what's being reported, and that's exactly what's happening here. Let me just show you one key thing, and I'll get to the clip here. If you look up this particular story, 67% of the media that leans right talked about this, and only 17% leans left. So they don't even want to hold their own party accountable. We know that. Now, look at this clip.
Can I just say really quickly, Abby, because anytime that we play something from Stephen Miller, it would be journalistic integrity to point out that he is a white supremacist and he is the brainchild behind this policy. That's not my opinion, that's actual facts. And for him to purport lies from the Oval Office as a white supremacist,
I don't know,
it should be pointed out.
Big aspersions.
It's reporting, Washington Wall Street Journal's own reporting.
So that's just an example of the rhetoric that they allow on mainstream media, and people eat this stuff up. I would call that defamation if you ask me, but I'm not a lawyer. Now, when we look up this mass shooting incident as a story on Ground News, look at this. Only 17% of the outlets that lean left are reporting on who the shooter actually is. I told you they don't want to pay attention to those details. This is why we use Ground News. I want you to get the full picture. I always want to show you guys both sides because I want you to exercise your critical thinking skills. That's exactly what this country is missing. We need to get back to a time where people are willing to hear both sides and make up their own mind. And that's exactly what Ground News will help you do. So if you want to use this tool for yourself, all you have to do is go to ground.news/Devori, or you can download the mobile app. Just use promo code Devori, and it's going to give you access to everything that I showed you in this video, including 40% off the Vantage plan.
Here's what we know. Now, according to Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, children have been killed. 2 young children aged 8 and 10 were killed as they sat in the pews of the church. Other children were injured, 2 of them in critical condition.
Fucking coward,
according to law enforcement, in total, 17 injured. The shooter, armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol, targeted children through the church windows. There were dozens of children inside the church. The shooter also carried what police describe as some sort of smoke bomb. The shooter, law enforcement believes, took his own life after firing dozens of rounds.
Now, we're going to get to what both sides are saying as far as their reactions are concerned. And I'll just give you a fair warning. Some of it I would call extremely disturbing. But just on what's happening with the shooter's dead. That's number 1. 2, social medias have been wiped. That's interesting. 3, they're still trying to confirm whether or not a manifesto actually exists. There's some rumors going around of a manifesto, but it hasn't really been confirmed. What we do know, as was stated earlier, this is a trans individual, okay? They did change their name in the state of Minnesota in a city called Minneapolis, which has a history of problems, as we know. And here is an actual photo. Now, again, this isn't really confirmed. This is floating around on social media, so obviously take it for what it is. But this is what people are saying is a picture of the shooter, the words written on the firearm, as you guys can see, his notebook with the defend equally and LGBTQ colors, etc. Okay, so now this actually takes us to, like I stated, some delusional takes. The first one is the left doesn't want to hear anybody talk about thoughts and prayers. Take a look.
These were Minneapolis families. These were American families.
This nigga's stupid as fuck.
And the amount of pain that they are suffering right now is extraordinary. And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
As an elected official, you are on the ground with your folks and you appreciate this journey. I agree with the mayor. I'm not, the thoughts and prayers, I'm so beyond that nonsense, the lie of that. Because what we have are people who continue to stand in the way of actually doing something to stop the violence against their own kids. It is amazing to me. We watch young kids die in classrooms and now in church, and all we get are thoughts and prayers. What?
I mean, he's expressing something that I know you feel and most people feel, which is a combination of sadness, but raw rage. That forget about thoughts and prayers. These kids were literally praying when they were murdered through a church window.
Okay, so clearly they got their talking points. And it's unfortunate to say that when you're talking about a tragedy, but as soon as the mayor said the word, or he chastised people, I guess, saying words, thoughts and prayers, because I haven't really seen what he's truly addressing. I don't understand why he would push back on people saying our thoughts and prayers go out to these kids. I just find that to be interesting, and let's just be real about it. These people on the left are not Christians,
Fucking
okay?
retarded,
Even if
dude.
they say they are. Let's just be honest about it for my Christians out there, okay? Not for me to judge them. That's between them and God, of course, but I don't think the Democrat Party truly represents what a Christian life should look like. But they seem to be the authority on the issue on whether or not you should be able to say thoughts and prayers, but they don't want to hear it. Now, here's another disgusting clip. This time is from Fake Tapper on CNN. He is just so concerned regarding the details of who the shooter is, particularly what their gender seems to be. Take a look.
In the videos, which are titled with Westman's full name, the person recording them pages through this handwritten notebook. The notebook describes feelings of self-hatred and wishes to die. And the words, "I'm so sorry," are written in large letters on one page. The notebook also includes a diagram of the inside of a church, which appears to match the layout of Annunciation Catholic Church. The person recording shows themselves stabbing a knife into that drawing of the layout of that church while saying the words, quote, "ha, nice." Jake, again, piecing together this information, all of it incredibly disturbing. And again, as I think people have been pointing out since this happened, you see obviously some real clues here as to what a motive could be, but they're not saying formally what it is yet.
The Minneapolis Star-Tribune, just as another piece of the puzzle as to who the shooter was, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune says, according to court records, because there's been some confusion about what the shooter's name was.
Yes.
Robin Westman's mother applied to change her child's name in 2019. It was at one point Robert Paul Westman.
Correct.
But since she identifies as a female and wants her name to reflect that identification, was underage, it's now Robin Westman.
Okay, so what do we have so far? Democrats are losing their mind if someone says the words thoughts and prayers.
Fuck Robert.
They also are tiptoeing around who this individual truly is. And now what I'm going to show you is how they're starting to blame the president of the United States.
Jesus fucking.
This is not the time to jump to conclusions about the shooter, right? What his ideological views might have been.
Stupidest
what
fucking
his own
take
personal
ever.
Situation was, and this is the time where, unfortunately, Americans have a habit on social media of speculating about things and sometimes vilifying communities and making assumptions about communities who might be responsible before we have any information that would indicate
It's blatantly
who is responsible.
it's
or
blatantly
whether they're
obvious.
part of
That's
any
why.
particular ideological or other community. So I think right now it's unsatisfying, but we need to just wait not jump to conclusions. What
Bitch,
is
we
this
fucking know
administration
what's
doing
going
right
on.
now other than saying our prayers are with you? We have a president right now who's talking about sending the National Guard into cities across the country that supposedly have a crime problem. Can we talk
Supposedly
about the
Yo, people will fucking get a shot up. What do you talk? Oh my god, dude, these fucking people, bro.
proliferation of firearms in this country?
Okay, as I told you, they're going to blame the president because that's the easy thing to do politically. Then the second easy thing to do is to start screaming about gun control. But remember,
exactly,
they offer no actual legitimate solutions. Because
exactly.
the only thing they're truly offering,
they're trying to get rid of the guns,
is they want to get rid of the Second Amendment. Okay?
Exactly.
And
Fuck
there's
that.
no way you're going to convince me otherwise when it comes to the current Democrat Party. Okay, they could try to lie their way and say, yeah, we own firearms, just like Kamala Harris did during the election. Come on, get real. And the third thing here is the disturbing behavior of the media, where they just want to tiptoe around who this shooter really is. Just come out and say it. I just find it interesting how they're so sensitive about it. Why not be sensitive of the victims here, you know? Okay, so here's Byron York on Fox News, really pointing out a good point about Democrats and the mistake they're continuing to make.
Well, you know, this
Protecting
shooting,
dumbass
by
people,
terrible
bro.
coincidence just happened as the Democratic National Committee was wrapping up its meeting in Minneapolis this summer, which was filled with Trump bashing and especially bashing of the president's anti-crime initiative, where Democrats have placed themselves completely against what the president is doing. And in light of the Associated Press poll that you just mentioned, with a majority of Americans giving, saying they support and they approve of what President Trump is doing on the issue of crime, it just puts Democrats completely on the wrong side. So what you have now is this really terrible, weird confluence of the Democrats bashing Trump on crime, this terrible crime happening in Minneapolis, an added debate about trans, all in the context of really heartbreaking loss of life. And it has created a muddled situation, but the one thing that is clear is the Democratic Party seems to be on the wrong side of this crime issue.
Of course they're on the wrong side of the crime issue. They're on the wrong side of pretty much everything, if you think about it, because their whole existence in life right now is based on President Trump. It's not based on serving the American people. It's a fundamental difference in their thinking. It's just a classical mistake or a life lesson that we should be very aware of, and that is, do not allow your hatred for a person to consume your life, because when you do, that means that person controls you. That's exactly what's happened to Democrats, and that's why they are totally disconnected, and they will be disconnected from this tragedy as well. Now, an interesting video just came to light, and CNN is talking about it, and I think we should take a look at it, about the shooter and what his activities were leading up to this tragedy. Take a look.
Westman seems to have left a series of online videos which describe an obsession with school shootings and even named other mass shooters, such as the 2012 Sandy Hook gunman, the Columbine gunman, and the man who attacked the Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018.
Here's my note to my family.
The video also shows written statements and several guns painted with slurs. In another clip, the speaker simply reads aloud from a clothes dryer manual.
Dryer safety. Your safety and the safety of others are very important.
Police say they also found a litany of writings.
We are also aware of a manifesto that the shooter had timed to be released on YouTube.
Fuck this nigga.
This manifesto appeared to show him at the scene and included some disturbing writings. That content has since been taken down with the assistance of the FBI, and it now remains under active review by our investigators.
Apparently part of the plan that the shooter seemed to
Bullshit,
illustrate
let it
in
out.
those same videos on YouTube, a photo of a slab of wood. An actual slab of wood was found at the scene, blocking a door from the outside.
This will be for the emergency exit. Pop it through the hand.
According to social media posts, the shooter's mother worked at the school from 2016 to 2021, and the shooter graduated from the school in 2017. The shooter, now known as 23-year-old Robin Westman, identified as a female and changed their name legally to Robin from Robert in 2020.
Now, one of the things that actually stood out to me in that entire clip was about this reporting that 2x4s block the exits so that when this evil individual was looking to murder people, there was no way for them to get out, which is really disheartening to hear, if you ask me. But I want you to pay attention to the way CNN investigates this idea. I think it's really embarrassing for the journalists out there. Take a look.
What does it say to you, and what is your understanding and reporting about these 2x4s that barricaded these doors? Is this something where the gunman expected to be able to get inside and couldn't? It saved these kids, where it barricaded the doors in a way that made it more dangerous because they couldn't get out? I mean, what is your understanding of what happened here?
My understanding is that those 2x4s were placed through the door handles of two separate exits where children could have fled during the shooting. The theory is, and you know, we don't have the gunman to interview about this, but the theory is that he wanted to create containment where his victims would be trapped within that location.
So he put the 2x4s on the outside of these doors to trap them in there?
That's correct.
You're fucking retarded,
and that
dude.
Requires some planning and forethought.
Okay, so listen, guys. I'm
Stupid
just being
ass,
honest here.
stupid ass bitch. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? What else would they be for? That don't make no fucking goddamn sense. Are you that daft? You can't figure that out yourself? This bitch is
Where did I
fucking
read this
dumb,
clip
dude.
From Casey Hunt. I mean, it's just a stupid question.
The
I mean,
fucking stupidest.
Why else
fucking,
does he use the 2x4s? Okay.
Why are you wasting time on this damn fucking idiot?
And the guy she's talking to, he's a piece of work too, because earlier this guy refused to identify the shooter as a transgender. And we already know CNN is continuing to tiptoe around all of that. Now, actually what they're doing is they brought on the mayor to, I guess, try to criticize people who are attacking, in their own words, the trans community. So we go from actually focusing on the victims to focusing on the trans community. That's
Fuck these niggas too, dude. It's not about you.
CNN and the mayor is up to right now. Take a look.
But when you spoke about this today publicly, you voiced concern for the transgender community, for the community overall. And obviously,
Wrong
you
people to
chose
be
do
worried
that
about
in that
right
moment
now.
because you thought it was important. And I wanted to give you a chance to say why you felt it was important to do that in that moment.
Obviously, I've heard about the rhetoric and the narrative that is being pushed out, but here's the thing. Anybody that is going to use this as an opportunity to villainize our trans community or any community has lost touch with a common humanity. We got to be operating not out of hate for any group, but out of a love for our children. That's where the focus needs to be right now. A love for our kids, seeing these kids not just as
There's a
somebody
whole
else's
Reddit thread with all these trans assholes fucking celebrating the news, alright? That's what's pissing me the fuck off.
kids, this horrific thing happened. But what if it was our own? How would we feel then? So, look, we need to be standing up for every community out there. Our Catholic community, too,
This fucking idiot, dude. The Catholic ones, too. The one that actually got shot, hurt, perpetrated. Yeah, we gotta think about them, too. No, first the trans and then the Catholic people. What the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
By the way, I mean, any community that suffers this...
Not the community that shot them. You gotta worry about the people that got, you know, don't worry about the people that got shot. Think about the people that were shooting them. What about them? You fucking clown, dude.
Our Minneapolis community, you gotta stand up for them.
If anything, I need to see more trans people come out and say and condemn this shit. Say you're not with that fucking bullshit. Where are the trans people at? Where are the trans people at right now? Where are they at? Where is there no shame? All right? Where is their accountability right now? On their own community. No, they're just going to fucking laugh it up. You want to laugh it up.
But, you know, I feel oftentimes in these instances there's this desire to villainize a group.
Yeah, so my only question to the mayor would be, what happens if that group, through history, has shown to do things like this repeatedly? Is it wrong to criticize the group? I mean, listen, black people get criticized every single day, okay? We have this whole thing called black fatigue now, right? Now, you guys watch my show. You know I'm not some ghetto thug, okay? That's why you watch my show. And I know when you guys probably don't like what black people are doing, you're probably not thinking about me. I can accept that. I can discern in my mind. I have critical thinking skills. But I guess if we decide to criticize this shooter because they're trans and mentally ill, we are attacking the entire trans community. I don't think we need to do anything when it comes to the trans community. I think they do enough damage on their own to their own community. That's just the way that I see it.
You want to call this an act of cowardice? Do it, because it is. But regardless of what group or background, gender, you know, the bottom line is that kids got killed. Let's love each other more. Let's love each other more, because the antidote to hate is not more hate. Hurt people, and the antidote to hate is a whole lot more love. That's where we all need to be going right now.
Well, that's one thing I do agree with him on, is that we do need more love in this country, no question about it. Even if we have political differences, we should still love each other enough to set those aside and see each other for who God has made us to be. And I would argue that politics has definitely become a disease in this country that has prevented people from using critical thinking skills, as I continue to repeat throughout this video. It prevents people from exercising emotional maturity or intelligence. I think people make their life about politics instead of making their life about purpose or their relationship with God. I mean, what are they doing on this planet to serve? I think we've gotten away from that. And so the farther we get away from that, the more confused people get, the more angry they get, and the more destructive they become. And so I do agree with him about the love component, but I think the only way that's going to happen is first starting on an individual level, being the change you want to see. Sounds cheesy, but it's true, because that's the way that I run this show. I wish everybody would do what I'm doing. Show both sides. Stop being so hyperbolic all the time. Okay? We don't need all that. All right? I think the politicians are hyperbolic enough. We don't need people in the media and podcasts to tack on and amplify it. Just talk about what both sides are saying and let the people make up their own mind. I think that's fair. But that's how I see it. Now, I want to hear from you guys about this entire story in the comment section below. What's your reaction to CNN and the nonsense they're continuing to pull? Like, they're tiptoeing around who the shooter really is. 2, they're asking stupid questions about the event. You saw it. And they're focusing more on the trans community instead of on the actual victims. Let me know if you guys saw the same thing. And just really give me your thoughts about everything that happened today in the comment section below. All right, so in our next video, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson just continues to humiliate himself. He's already dealing with a low approval rating in the single digits. And he had an interview yesterday on MSDNC. And
fucking trash, dude.
Good evening, everybody. You're watching America First. My name is Nicholas J. Fuentes. We got a great show for you tonight. Very excited to be back here with you tonight on Wednesday. We have a lot to talk about tonight. Lots to get into. A big show. Not good news. Very sad, tragic news. Our featured story, as you know, we're going to be talking all about the Catholic Church school shooting in Minneapolis, which
live right now with this gender swapping fucking bullshit. That's fucking shooter. Live streaming about this fucking shooting is pissing me the fuck off right now. Seriously. They say don't have thoughts and prayers. Like, what the fuck? Like, that's the time to have the thoughts and prayers. Like, are you truly that lost? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And then they're saying, oh, don't get mad at the whole community. We're not mad at the community. We're mad at the individual. But the fact that you're worried about the community more than the other one that got shot at, you're worried about the people that were doing the shooting? Like, I don't fucking get that part either, bro. Truly fucking daft.
Shot at, you're worried about the people that were doing the shooting? Like, I don't
which took place today.
Fucking A.
And it's a horrible situation. Horrible, horrible, unthinkable tragedy. And we'll talk all about it tonight. And we're going to focus on two specific things about it, which is, of course, it goes without saying, the perpetrator. Why did these things happen? What happened here? Why does a person go, in this instance, and shoot up a Catholic church filled with children and the elderly? We'll talk about the perpetrator. Obviously, that's important, and their motive. And we're also going to talk tonight a little bit about the reaction. I have to say, I'm honestly disgusted by this circus over the shooting. And I promise you, I'm not virtue signaling. I'm not saying that so you think I'm a good person. But you see these news reports this afternoon. Major shooting, 20 people injured, 2 people dead. And within seconds, you're just getting political slop about it from both sides. And the motivation of this shooter is actually inaccessible, I think, to a lot of older people. Much has been said about the words that were written on the firearms, and the guy's clearly a transsexual. At the same time, he's also got political messages on the guns, which apparently contradict that. And there's a very good explanation for the motivation. It seems like it has a lot to do with a niche internet subculture, which involves the occult, it involves Satanism, it involves white supremacy. It's international, clearly transnational element. It runs through Russia, through Europe, through the Middle East, the United States. We'll talk a little bit about that. The boomers just do not comprehend what this is. They just can't. They're not online enough. I think most normies have never heard of what this is. They don't have the tools to understand what this is. But it doesn't stop everybody from weighing in. It doesn't stop everybody from weighing in. And immediately it turns into a partisan debate, ideological debate. And if you'll forgive me, if you'll excuse me, a debate about transgenderism. I don't believe it has anything to do with any of these things, actually. And I'm disappointed at the quality of content we're getting. Everybody racing to Twitter and just the dumbest shit imaginable. The dumbest, most retarded shit imaginable. You have some people saying it's Israel. What the fuck does Israel have to do with this? And that's coming from me. Hello? And I'm the expert. And I can tell you how Israel's involved in a lot of things, but you got a dozen or so people saying it's Israel. It's a false flag for Israel. How does that even make sense? You got another camp saying it's the government and the CIA. Now it's plausible there might be a connection. But people are saying it's MK Ultra, mind control. Okay, you lost me. Then you have your normal conservatives saying, if you make people transgender, they're going to commit mass shootings. Do we even understand why transgenderism is wrong? I don't think anything is inherent in transgender ideology that says kill children. And that's not a defense of transgenderism. I can already see the clips. You know, I'm defending transgenders. I'm not. But I don't think there's anything intrinsic in that has transgender people idolizing the Columbine shooters and murdering children. I don't think it has anything to do with that, actually. What this is, and, you know, people are so confused these days. Everything's ideological. Everything's partisan. Everything is about the fucking election. It's about Trump. This has nothing to do with Trump. This has nothing to do with Republicans and Democrats, conservatives and liberals. What this is evil. This is the face of pure evil. That's what that is. And the more that you look at this case, the more that you look at the evidence, if you understand where this came from, the internet subculture that it came from, you understand this is non-ideological evil. It is nonpartisan, non-ideological, I promise you.
What's the Reddit?
This is not a culture warrior. This is pure evil. And maybe that goes without saying, but it should be said. Somebody whose thoughts and writings are filled with idolization of mass killers of every stripe, every culture, every ideology, that has nothing to do with American politics. That is spiritual. That is in the domain of the spiritual. The killer has drawings in his notebook of himself looking in the mirror and seeing the devil reflected back to him. That's not ideological, that's evil. Now, insofar as evil has symptoms, such as what we would understand as mental illness. If someone is taken over by evil, it looks like mental illness. Transgenderism has a very high coincidence with personality disorders and mental illness. That is a symptom of evil. It is a symptom. It is in that territory of evil. But that's what this is at the bottom of it. And, you know, we talk a lot on this show about all these things. We talk about the right and the left. We talk about voting in the elections, and we talk about Jews and Christians. We talk about a lot of these things, but this is at the core. This is, and I'm rarely talk about things with this lens, but if there ever was an occasion to talk about those powers and principalities that we're fighting against in a spiritual realm, this is it. This is one of those very clear-cut examples.
Shit.
In the realm of serial killers, in the realm of mass murderers. It's in the domain of that. It is in, let's not make a category error. It is in the domain of the spiritual. This is about good and evil. Somebody identifies with the devil and fantasizes about murdering children for no reason other than sadism. That's just evil. Without a facade, without a patina, without any costume. That's pure distilled, 99% pure, 100% pure evil. So, and maybe that goes without saying, but it bears repeating because I see and honestly, I really blame a lot of the conservatives on this. Why is everybody looking for somebody to blame? This is a horrible tragedy. The person that perpetrated the attack is clearly a maniac. If you are not a spiritual person, you might say this is just pure mental illness. If you are, you'd say it's pure evil. Why is everybody looking for someone to blame? You know, the Democrats, they used to blame the guns, the white supremacy, the white males. On the right, everybody's racing to blame transgenders, the Democrats, the mainstream media. It goes without saying, or it should, that there are evil people in the world. And they come in all shapes and sizes, and all different colors, and all different creeds. There are people that are deeply fucked up, mentally ill, evil, possessed, demonically influenced, whatever you prefer. But we know these people are with us, and they engage in other behaviors that are dissonant. They engage in other behaviors that are disordered. Many of them are porn addicts. Many of them are transsexuals. Many of them are killing animals. Many of them are abusing drugs or alcohol. Many of them are sexually abusive. I mean, these are behaviors that coincide, are symptomatic of, are actually causal, drawing a person further into evil. And then this is the ultimate evil. Child sacrifice, murder of children, sadistic, lethal violence. And anyway, so conservatives need to just stop. It's I like lose my mind when I see this stuff. I thought this is like Matt Walsh's. This is Matt Walsh's Super Bowl. A tranny committed a shooting. Oh boy, what is a woman? What is a woman, brother? Anyway, so We'll talk all about that. If we have time, we're going to talk about another story. I don't know if we'll get to it. You never know these days. I tend to go on and on. I'm rambling on these days. But our second story tonight, we're going to talk about a letter that was sent to Wikipedia by the House of Representatives. They're saying that Wikipedia is biased. Oh, finally. Wikipedia is very biased.
Wikipedia,
if you look,
can't anybody like put their own shit in Wikipedia? You can like pretty much make up your own shit, right?
Put their profile on me or any conservative ever, for that matter.
Is there a timeline?
It is effectively an encyclopedia of hit pieces. But take a wild guess. I get tired of it. I get tired of it. I myself, and it's my brand, it's my thing. Take a wild guess. You want to know what the House Republicans' complaint about Wikipedia is? Take a stab in the dark with no contextual information. What do you think their complaint is about Wikipedia and their editorial bias? You guessed it. The Republicans say that Wikipedia is too pro-Palestine.
What the fuck?
Its articles about Israel and the Jews are anti-Semitic.
Wow.
I feel like Rachel Maddow on the night of the election. Do you remember in 2016 when she said, nope, this isn't a terrible, terrible dream. No, this isn't a nightmare. This is us. This is our country. This is reality now. That's how I...
Fucking A, bro. What a fucking... Kale Channing won't break kayfabe for Raja Jackson. I gotta hear this.
Charles Sonnen basically said, hey, everybody, there's a good chance that this was a work. And that the reason Roger hasn't been arrested is because there's a chance that Psycho Stu might wake up and say, hey, it was all a work. It's good.
So
and people are
stupid.
basically saying, how dare you say that? He clearly tried to kill him. You're an idiot. You're trying to defend him. Because at the very beginning of the video, Charles Sonnen said, I know Roger and I like him.
L take.
So everything, all credibility went out the window. So let me say this. I don't like Charles Sonnen. I don't like him. And I don't know Roger Jackson. I have no skin in the game. I don't care about either of them. I have no ties to them. I have no relationships to maintain with them. I got no one in my pocket. I got no one to lose. I don't get views anyway. Doesn't matter. So I can speak freely.
I don't
because I
get
fear
views.
nothing. It bothered me the way that people came at Charles Sonnen, not because I care about him, but because I care about holding people accountable for how they act. There's been a whole mob mentality thing going on lately.
You're defending
And
Chael right now, bro?
everyone's just jumping on the bandwagon. And here's what I think.
Hold on. Let me see what the
There's just a
comments
little
are.
part that I think should be at least observed that I haven't heard anybody talk about. Anybody. Number one, I'll tell you when I get to it. Let me preface it first. Number one, everybody knows it was a work. If you're watching this video, you should know by now it was a work because it's on every bit of footage. Roger agreed to it and Psycho Stu. Now, to the extent of it, there's no way anyone could have known how stupid Roger would be. Clearly, Psycho Stu didn't agree to almost being beat to death. But what I think is important to observe, which I haven't heard, and that's always what I want to do here. If there's a topic out there in the MMA community and everyone's already talked about it, I don't really have a desire to talk about it. I don't need that. But there's something I haven't heard anybody else mention, and maybe it doesn't matter, but I think it should at least be mentioned. Number one, Roger was told, you can get in the ring
And get your receipt.
and get your receipt. You can get in there and get physical with him.
Yeah.
That was already stupid. This was a perfect storm of stupidity from everybody.
Right.
The Village People looking dude with the cowboy hat made bad choices. The dude that I think was related to Rikishi, the dude that had like a bath towel around him and he was like naked. He was like an old Samoan dude or something, had long hair. He was making bad decisions. Some other dude kind of out of frame that was shaking his hand and stuff saying, you know, you could do this and that. He was making bad decisions. Everybody there made bad decisions.
Yeah.
He should have never been led into the ring. He was led into the ring to get his receipt. Okay. Now, I remember early on in this whole situation, I had a thought, and then I kind of forgot about it because so much stuff kept happening. My early thought was, you know what is kind of I don't know if it doesn't change anything, but I was wondering, does Roger Jackson know anything about professional wrestling? Because if he doesn't, that could have had a huge part in the way he acted.
Right.
And I later saw on his feed, on his chat, on his stream, he says, I don't know anything about wrestling. And I know some people might find that hard to believe, but I have young people in my life who I've tried to expose to wrestling. And believe it or not, I know people that are here watching videos like this right now. We're very combat sports oriented.
Right,
Even
right,
if we
right.
don't actively watch something, we know enough. We have a general awareness of power slap fighting, pillow fight championship, people fighting in a phone booth, a literal phone booth. People in China.
Yeah, right.
People fighting in a convertible with seatbelts on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The Epic Fighting Championship out of Russia, where a 500-pound dude will fight 3 ladies. And WWE. We have an awareness of these things. We could kind of identify each one. Some people, believe it or not, cannot. Again, I had people in my life when I exposed them to wrestling, they were like, what is this? Why do they look like that? Why do they talk like that? Why do they have these kinds of names? Why do they dress that way? Why do they fight that way? That doesn't even look like fighting. I've never seen fighting like that in my life. How do you win? Wait a minute. He won by doing that? That doesn't look like the end of a fight. It was the most foreign thing that they've ever seen. So that has to be acknowledged and accepted.
I like that.
Just because you know about something doesn't mean someone else does. So my thought was, does he know anything about how this is supposed to look or go? And he said on chat, I don't know nothing about this. I was just here to watch my friend. I wasn't trying to do this. So then he starts. I'm getting ahead here. Here's the next thing to consider. Roger Jackson, and again, I'm not justifying anything he did. He's accountable. He should be held accountable. However, Roger Jackson was like the worst person that could have been in this situation, in this perfect storm. Because, and this is so important, and if you don't think this is important, I don't know what to do with you. If you can't acknowledge the importance of this, go watch the Weasels video again and validate yourself. I don't know. Roger Jackson not only didn't know anything about professional wrestling, doesn't watch professional wrestling, doesn't have nothing to do with it, doesn't have an idea of how it operates and functions. His dad, Roger Jackson's dad, was a dude who was a professional MMA fighter in Pride. His dad was a professional MMA fighter in a promotion which Rampage himself has admitted had a ton of fixed fights. Now, I don't remember off the top of my beanie, and I should have done the research on this. I don't recall Rampage ever saying he directly himself was ever in one of them. However, Roger has full awareness. Clearly, he is aware of his dad's career, saw the fights, was probably at some of the fights, seen the footage. He knows his culture. He knows where he came from. His dad is a professional MMA fighter that fought in a promotion widely known to have had many fixed fights.
They didn't know that.
Well, according to Roger, he was about to go into a fixed fight. He didn't know nothing about wrestling. But my dad was in a promotion that did fixed fights. What did those fights look like? Combine that with the fact that apparently, and this was new to me, I just found this out today. Apparently, he was told, keep swinging until the ref peels you off. So when you don't know anything about professional wrestling, because why would you? I don't watch it today. It's lame. It's pathetic. It's weird. It's not like in the old days. I wouldn't be caught watching wrestling now.
Facts.
I don't watch wrestling now. I could fully believe someone not watching it and not knowing anything about what it's supposed to look like. So he was invited in there to get his receipt after he just had a can smacked on his head. He was told, you know, you're not faking it. You get in there, get your receipt, because in there, that's a real way to get back. He doesn't know anything about wrestling. His dad was a professional MMA fighter in fights that were predetermined, and they still looked the realest of the real. And that was what Rampage referred to the other day when he was talking about, well, the only chance he has is if this was a hardcore work, where it's predetermined and you basically tell each other, do what you got to do. You know, just don't kill me. Just do what you got to do. It's got to look real. Now, here's the part where you could get real mad at me. I'm not saying Psycho Stu did that. I don't think Psycho Stu could have ever known that Roger would be that stupid. But here, I mean, could you at least fathom being with me up to this point? Because the people at the promotion got nervous when the can went on his head, whether they were fearing he would be litigious or whatever, they're like, okay, well, let's make it good. You can get in there and smack him around. We're good, right? He's like, fine, as long as I get my lick back, we're fine. Okay, cool. They shouldn't have done that. They should have found some more mature, level-headed way of fixing that than being like, oh, you want to jump in and fight him? So here's all I'm saying up to this point. They made a bad choice by saying, you could get in there and hit him. Okay. Combined with he knows nothing.
Nah, this guy's doesn't have the full thing. He's saying it's like he's giving them the out, but it was premeditated, bro. Like for sure premeditated. All right, there's no way about it. There's something I want to see that I saw just not too long ago. Where's it at? Was that it right there? No. It was on my history. Let's see. Oh, here we go.
Roger Jackson just snapped. He stormed the ring during a wrestling match, slammed the veteran unconscious, and brutally attacked him while he was out. And to be clear, nothing about what he did can be justified. It was wrong. But this wasn't just one bad night. The more I looked into his story, the more I realized that this was years in the making. He lost his mom, he was humiliated by his dad, and the deeper you go, the more tragic it all gets, because before anyone even knew who Raja was, he was already carrying something heavy: the loss of his mom.
It's hard growing up without a mom from such a young age. May God bless your mom's soul.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. You know, maybe one day I'll open up more about it. She's in heaven now. It sucks how she passed and everything, but I know she's in a better place.
And even in that clip, you can tell that it still hurts, but it wasn't just the grief, it was the loss of the one parent who might have given him unconditional love. From that moment on, he just wanted to be accepted by the one parent he had left.
As my friends be coming, they be like, that's your dad, that's your dad. I'm like, yep, that's my dad.
But unfortunately, that craving was never met because his dad didn't just fail to affirm him, he humiliated him. Sometimes it was framed as a joke, but the message always landed.
My son's a vegan because he's a... Huh? You heard that?
That's making you look bad. You trying to degrade and downplay your own kid.
Man, you.
Why you stepping on my shoe?
Oh, look, I forgot to tie my shoe good. Can you help me out with that?
They like they do from Fat Abbott. Yuck mouth from Fat Abbott.
Now, the more that you watch these clips, the more that a pattern starts to show. You start to see more and more clips of Raja clearly being hurt, but he doesn't push back, he just absorbs it.
Why this shit wet? You been sparring with your feet? No. Why the f does it smell like feet, son?
And it wasn't just words. On a podcast, he bragged about choking Raja unconscious and sending him to the hospital while Raja just sat there.
I got in a fight once.
Oh, really?
A couple, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And what'd you do? Did you slam him on his head?
Oh, yeah. That motherfucker went to the hospital that day.
Oh, you put him to sleep?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's not going to want me to tell what that fight was over.
It was embarrassing for him?
Yeah. I don't even.
Something stupid?
I ain't want him to talk about it.
Why?
Because
you happen. It happened.
Yeah, I know.
So there you can see Raja retreating in real time, but his dad keeps going. Like the story makes him look strong. And there were also moments like this.
Come here. Don't do what I told you to do. Out of here.
But even still, Raja still wanted to make his dad proud by becoming a pro fighter. So you can only imagine how he felt when his dad said things like this all the time.
I'ma disown you, then I'ma adopt me another black son that's like 8 years old, and I'ma train him up to be a fighter.
Ngannou Jackson is gonna be the son that I always wanted. He's gonna be a meat eater.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna disown you. Yeah, I'm gonna Google how to adopt. I'm gonna adopt me a little black kid, and I'm gonna raise him up to be a fighter. I'm gonna turn him into a multi-motherfucking millionaire.
And even when Raja finally won, when he did everything right, this was how his dad reacted.
Man, I'm a proud dad. I gotta tell Roger something. I didn't want him to know, but I said if he win this fight, he can go pro. He been begging me to go pro. I said I want him to have 10 fights, and I'm this proud of him.
That was one of the proudest moments of Raja's life, and even then, his dad made it a punchline. So after years and years of this, it's not hard to see how someone could crack. And if you watch their vlogs, Raja usually comes across as pretty chill and generally pretty easygoing for the most part. So his eruptions seem to be out of character for him. But once you understand this background, Raja's outburst stops feeling random. It wasn't just a moment of rage, it was the inevitable overflow from years of shame. And there's actually a name for this. It's what psychologists call the shame rage spiral. Eventually explode by externalizing their pain through violence. As this study puts it, shame is among the emotions that are more difficult to regulate and often leads people to project their internal hostility outward. So suddenly, that Bible verse about fathers not provoking their children to anger starts to make a lot more sense. And Raja wasn't dealing with just one bad day. He was dealing with his dad mocking him on his stream, his chat calling him soft, a recent concussion impairing his judgment, and several years of being told that he wasn't man enough. Now, of course, in no way is this an excuse for what he did. He's a grown man who made his own decisions, and he'll have to suffer the consequences for it himself. But it does explain the pattern, especially when acceptance is something that you have to earn by being strong. And the type of humiliation that Raja experienced from his dad, psychologists say it creates damage that even praise can't undo. So by the time that Raja snapped, it wasn't even about the fight. It was about proving something to the one person who never gave him what he needed. And that brings us to the night that he attacked Stu. Because even before things went down, you can hear Raja echoing that he doesn't need his dad's protection.
Yeah, I can handle myself. Yeah, I can handle myself. That thing's gonna come whoop your ass. You don't need his dad. He handle his own shit. Yeah, I got my own shit.
But here's what I think really made things go dark. After Raja and Stu made up, his dad was streaming at the same time that Raja was, and then he called Raja to say this.
Let me call my son. Hey, yo, did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights? Did you get jumped by a bunch of dudes in tights? No. You was hugging on a dude in some tights. Man, shut the fuck up. Man, you shut the fuck up. I looked at your stream, you were hugging on some dude in some booty shorts. I wasn't hugging on nobody.
And after that call, his dad was mocking Raja for it, followed by Raja's own chat, who also piled in on Raja for being weak and not standing up for himself. And this is why his chat was getting to him so much.
Oh, you think he's stronger than me? All right, Suave, watch. Shut the fuck up. I thought you wouldn't be talking like this if you was in front of me.
It's also why he said things like,
I'm too nice. Bet. My dad can't never call me a bitch.
In that moment, it wasn't even really about Stu.
Yeah, it wasn't about Stu.
Everything that came before. The years of humiliation and built-up shame all came out in that very moment. This is also evidenced by the fact that even after it was over, even after he left someone unconscious, he screamed about the one thing he heard his dad call him his whole life.
Call me bitch and shit. Not no fucking bitch, bro.
My son's a vegan because he's a
Because I'm tired of everybody playing with me, bro.
But the real tragedy is this. Raja spent his entire life trying to be good enough for his dad when the love that he needed was never going to come from him. After his mom passed away, what he really wanted was to receive that unconditional love from the only parent that he had left. So every fight, every stream, every outburst, it was all a way of trying to prove that he was worth loving and accepting. And when the only way that you've ever been shown love is through strength, then you'll do almost anything not to look weak. But here's the thing. The love that Raja wanted from his father is the same acceptance that God offers him. God is the father that he actually needed, the one who sees him fully and doesn't need him to perform to be accepted. Because in Christ, we're loved even before we do anything to prove ourselves. You don't have to prove that you're a...
Yeah. This whole Raja thing gets even deeper. I was just watching psychology about it. I mean, his dad's always humiliating him. He lost his mother when he was really young, so the grief is always there. And it was just like a ticking time bomb at that point, because he was always wanting to prove to his dad that he was strong enough, he was good enough, even though he was vegan, even though he wasn't the champion of the world right now, even though his dad would make fun of him every which way that he could, especially even when he first won his first fight and he slapped him across the face during the whole victory speech as a joke. It was just like, it was never good enough. So I could see it wasn't even about Psycho Stu at all. It was about him proving the point that I'm strong enough, Dad. I can beat somebody up, and I'm not no little bitch. And it got out of hand real quick because he's been dealing with that for all his life. And at that split moment, it just bursted into 21 flurry fights into the face and knocking him out unconscious. Psychology about it. I mean, his dad's always humiliated him. He lost his mother when he was really young, so the grief is always there. And it was just like a ticking time bomb at that point, because he was always wanting to prove to his dad that he was strong enough, he was good enough, even though he was vegan, even though he wasn't the champion of the world right now, even though his dad would make fun of him every which way that he could, especially even when he first won his first fight and he slapped him across the face during the whole victory speech as a joke. It was just like, it was never good enough. So I could see it wasn't even about Psycho Stu at all. It was about him proving the point that I'm strong enough, Dad. I can beat somebody up, and I'm not no little bitch. And it got out of hand real quick because he's been dealing with that for all his life. And at that split moment, it just bursted into 21 flurry fights into the face and knocking him out unconscious. This whole Raja thing gets even deeper. I was just watching Psychology about it. I mean, his dad's always humiliated him. He lost his mother when he was really young, so the grief is always there. And it was just like a ticking time bomb at that point, because he was always wanting to prove to his dad that he was strong enough, he was good enough, even though he was vegan, even though he wasn't the champion of the world right now, even though his dad would make fun of him every which way that he could, especially even when he first won his first fight and he slapped him across the face during the whole victory speech as a joke. It was just like, it was never good enough. So I could see it wasn't even about Psycho Stu at all. It was about him proving the point that I'm strong enough, Dad. I can beat somebody up, and I'm not no little bitch. And it got out of hand real quick because he's been dealing with that for all his life. And at that split moment, it just bursted into 21 flurry fights into the face and knocking him out unconscious. This whole Raja thing gets even deeper. I was just watching Psychology about it. I mean, his dad's always humiliated him. He lost his mother when he was really young, so the grief is always there. And it was just like a ticking time bomb at that point, because he was always wanting to prove to his dad that he was strong enough, he was good enough, even though he was vegan, even though he wasn't the champion of the world right now, even though his dad would make fun of him every which way that he could, especially even when he first won his first fight and he slapped him across the face during the whole victory speech as a joke. It was just like, it was never good enough. So I could see it wasn't even about Psycho Stu at all. It was about him proving the point that I'm strong enough, Dad. I can beat somebody up, and I'm not no little bitch. And it got out of hand real quick because he's been dealing with that for all his life. And at that split moment, it just bursted into 21 flurry fights into the face and knocking him out unconscious. This whole Raja thing gets even fucking crazy.
Because he already proved it by dying for you on the cross. You're
L take on fucking
He knows nothing about pro wrestling. Combined with his dad was a pro MMA fighter who was in a promotion that had predetermined fights, and those fights looked so real that people to this day wish that it would come back instead of the UFC because of how good and solid and real those fights look. They could still be real. People still get choked out. People still get knocked out when they're predetermined. So what I started to think was, is it possible that he's so dumb that he's like, I've seen fights like this. This is what my dad did. He was in fixed fights. Well, maybe he wasn't, but he was in a promotion that had fixed fights. These fights were predetermined, and they still looked real. People would still get knocked out. I had someone telling me keep swinging till they peel me off. And I thought, is it possible this guy's that dumb that that's what allowed him to do something so ridiculous. Now, let me say this. If I was Roger and I went in there and I slammed him, the moment I saw his face unconscious, I stand up and go, ooh, yeah, and I run out of there in my head thinking, oh my gosh, is he okay? Because that's what a normal person would do. This dude starts teeing off on him 20-something times. So again, I have to keep saying, I'm not justifying what he did. I'm not saying he's free. I'm not saying he's okay. He should still be held accountable, because if it was me, and I'm sure most of you, the moment you slammed him and see his eyes unconscious, in your head, you're like, oh no! But then just to save face and not break kayfabe, what you go, yeah, then you run out of there and let, the ref deal with it. But this guy, again, that's why it's the perfect storm. I could understand up to that point. There's a possibility that this guy's so dumb that he didn't know nothing. That he could have just said, you know what, we're good. When the guy slammed the can on his head, he could have thought, I'm a pro fighter. Even though I lost my only pro fight. I'm a pro fighter. I know what I'm capable of. I don't need that. I'm above that. We're good, bro. You're kayfabe. I get it. I'm living a better life than you. I'm good. I don't need that. But he did need it because of insecurities or whatever. So he made that mistake. He didn't have to take him up on that. And honestly, if it were me again, if someone did that to me, I'd be like, bro, I don't got nothing to prove. What you did was dumb. I don't know why you felt like you had to do that, but I don't need to meet you at that level. I'm good. Go have a good life. That was weird. I'm not gonna take that bait and go in there and stretch this out. But Roger did that. And my thought was, is it possible that he's so dumb? Okay, he doesn't know anything about wrestling, and he does know about his dad and his career and how those fights were fixed and how they look real. And people told him, keep hitting till we peel you off. He thought, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do. But again, there's no excuse for once you see the guy out to keep doing it at the level which he was doing it. You guys already know the way I am when we watch the Fight Nights pay-per-views. I hate it. I hate it when someone's out and people keep hammer fisting them. I hate that. I think have some class. Do a walk-off. That looks so much cooler. It doesn't give you any points like the whole super necessary. I hated that. I didn't like that. I think Tapoeira did it to Oliveira too. I'm not positive. But Masvidal did it to Askren. People do it all the time. And I always say that's gross. I don't like it. People are like, oh, you're soft. Well, how do you guys feel now? Do you like it now? I didn't like it either. I don't like it in any case. So I'm not that guy that's like, yeah, Raja's okay. He didn't do anything wrong. I don't ever like that kind of stuff. You shouldn't hit anybody unconscious. That's disgusting. And I feel like most people in that situation would have known better, but he didn't. And look, again, I'm not giving him an excuse. Because if Roger would have did that to anyone that we care and love about, we would all say the same thing. Lock him up. So I'm going to maintain that perspective and be objective. However, because like I always say, when you're truly honest with yourself and objective, multiple things can be true at once. Life isn't always black and white. Like Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez. Would you say they're probably off, a little bit off?
Definitely.
Something went wrong? I'm assuming you'd say yes. Now, does that make any of us say, therefore, they shouldn't have got locked up? No. No, they're a danger to society. They shouldn't be free. So the reason I say that first is because I want to say, and I want to establish first, that even though I think someone has problems, yeah, if they're a danger, they shouldn't be free. Let's say we remove what happened from the situation. Let's remove Psycho Stu. Let's remove the last 3 days. Try your hardest, because I know you're mad at Roger. I am too. But try your best to act like the last 3 days did not happen. Like, honestly, try to do that. Just as an exercise. Try to pretend this never happened. When I watch the footage of Rampage and Roger, I feel so bad for Roger. Do you remember? I've always been fascinated with criminal stuff and law enforcement and documentaries and serial killers. I watch all that stuff. Do you remember how Jeffrey Dahmer always talked like if you could tell he wasn't right? He always had he was like a little like Sling Blade kind of style, you know, just a little bit behind. Something was different. I know it's easy to say now because of what's happened, but I would see that in Roger. It always seemed like he was off, or like he got hit in the head a lot or something, or he was sad, or like his dad. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I would laugh like crazy at their dynamic. Rampage makes me laugh like ridiculous. I love the dynamic. But there was always also something kind of sad and distant about that guy. Like, is he thinking about something? Is he just like a super introvert? Is he depressed? Is he not all there? There was always something off about him. And I've been watching so much footage the last couple of days about these dudes and the incident. And I came across this footage of when Rampage came on some show talking about his cars or something like that. And it showed Roger when he was like, I don't know, he could have been like 9-10 years old. And it showed Rampage with his two half Asian kids. And he's like loving them and holding them. And you could just see Roger looking at him like, it was hard to see. He seems like someone that has always been after the affection of his dad. And it hurts me to say this because I love Rampage.
Rampage is not a good dad.
But he seemed like someone that was always after the affection of his dad. Wow. To Rampage, Roger was just always the butt of a joke. And again, that's why this was the perfect storm. What happens when someone like Jeffrey Dahmer, when someone like the Columbine kids, when someone like Richard Ramirez, what happens when someone that's not right up here? What happens when that's put in the wrong place at the wrong time? If Jeffrey Dahmer was born like in a different environment or something like that, he might have been in a situation where someone would have checked him early and he would have been donezo. Same thing with Ted Bundy, Richard Ramirez, whatever the case. But this was like the perfect storm of someone being enabled every step of the way. And again, doesn't justify him. He's still a danger to society. I don't want to take this conversation down a path I didn't mean it to go. This stream was not to show any kind of remorse to Roger. The reason that I did this stream was because I did not like or appreciate the ignorant reception that Charles Sonnen got. And again, I will reiterate, I don't like that dude. But I thought it was unfair because you have someone that has such pro wrestling knowledge about kayfabe and what the depths and lengths that people are willing to go. Wrestlers will live and die by kayfabe. They take that very seriously. That's why Vince McMahon got all mad at Triple H, didn't even let him get the bout and everything when him and Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall were like hugging and all that. It was like, kayfabe is huge. So I understand when Chale's like, oh yeah, Psycho Stu might wake up and say, yeah, it was a work. We know it was a work. We already know that. The tricky thing was, I don't know if Charles Sonnen was meaning to imply that Psycho Stu might wake up and say, yes, we agreed that he would hit me 23 times. That would have to be very specific. So I think that's the absurdity of that might be what upset people about Charles Sonnen. But it's like people were pretending that they don't. It's not Sonnen's fault if you don't know what kayfabe is. Because again, like, people were getting mad at Maven, at Rob Van Dam for talking about this. And I'm hesitant to mention Mark Henry because Mark Henry, he took it a little far out there. But people are getting mad at these dudes who know the most about it. They're getting mad at dudes in the industry that know the jargon, that know the lifestyle and the culture, and how that's their whole identity is the kayfabe. That's why Psycho Stu was so. I mean, the moment he saw there was a camera, I'm gonna smack a can on someone's head. That's the life. It ain't playing around. That's the life. Oh, there's a camera on? I'm smacking someone in the head with a foreign object. They're real about that. So some casual, some noob can't come in with a pitchfork and be like, that doesn't mean this, and I don't know what kayfabe is, so who cares? He's evil. And it's a hard thing to argue, because while Roger was wrong and he should be held accountable, I just feel like people got upset with Chale for the wrong reasons. And I don't want to live in a world where people can act like they did with Chale and get away with it. That's the whole reason I'm making this video. It's not to defend Raja. It's not even necessarily to defend Chale Sonnen. I don't want to live in a world where this angry mob can come into his community and act like they know more about people who actually know about pro wrestling, just because of how mad they are. That's what bothered me.
Hey, bro.
Chris Groy % $10. Richard Hanania posted an article raising the possibility of a Steve Bannon Groy.
What happened? I don't know who this person is.
Let's get into it. Before we say anything, Psycho Stu has a GoFundMe out. Turns out that it is legitimate, it is verified. I believe his brother had originally said, if there's a GoFundMe, it's not ours. And then GoFundMe and Stu's brother have both said, no, this is the real one. Well over $100,000 last I checked. A couple of the usual suspects, Miro, Rusev donated, Chris Jericho donated. That you can, whatever you can say about Chris Jericho, you can't say that he's one heck of a generous son of a gun. Mr. Beast donated $10,000 as well. So, I mean, it's a great outpouring of support for somebody who's very, very clearly being wronged. There's one thing that we didn't really talk about. We talked about this on the pre-show, and I think it's important to mention this first before we get into all this extra news that's come since Monday. And I wanted to say, we realised that Stu apologised, several times to Raja and stuff like that, and you said it was more kind of symptomatic of the culture of pro wrestling being its own bubble, but also we have to assign a modicum of blame to Stu for bonking a stranger on the head with a can of beer kind of thing. Now, once again, this is not a capital offence. You know what I mean? And things would have weirdly gone a lot different if he'd done that. The can was empty. Afterwards, Raja said he wasn't hurt by it at all. He admitted that on the stream. So the only thing that was hurt was feelings, and Raja's precious little feelings were hurt about this. But as you say, you said it was more symptomatic of the pro wrestling bubble and the pro wrestling culture, that you sort of assume anybody in the backstage is a worker kind of thing, which actually they should be.
Yeah, what I said was that Stu and probably maybe a lot of other people, because the guy AJ, I know we're going to bring his name up a bunch once again, he was the one that invited Raja, and that's where the suspicion before with myself, looking at AJ and Stu and wondering before we found the information out, like, is there something between these guys, or does AJ guy have something against the Stu guy? And apparently there is some bad blood there. But it's kind of like what I said. The wrestling business has kind of been spoiled by these celebrities and other people that have done very well. I repeat that. That's definitely something to let the guard down. But also, it used to be, even with the checks and the balances and the extreme protection of the business, the entrance to the arena, the locker room, and especially the ring, when somebody has access to a locker room, in this case the outside, which is another point that I'm going to make should be avoided. You're out there, Raja's in the crowd, he's with another worker, so the incorrect assumption by Stu is that Raja is clued in, is, as you said in your video on your channel, he's in on the joke, he's in on the work. These are all incorrect assumptions. I don't know about the face-off, and I don't know why Stu felt he needed to, even in a work sense, hit him with an empty beer can to the head. Now, this kid also...
Yeah, I don't get that part. Like, I guess because he saw the cameras. He said he was confused, so... Yeah, full story of the attack. What is this guy? Let's see.
What's up, guys? Today I am covering the Rajah Jackson premeditated murder story. This has been in the news. This has been all over X. Everyone's talking about it. Crazy story. And the aftermath of what has happened since has been just as crazy as the original incident. So I got a bunch of clips lined up for you. First, I have the original video of the murder attempt for you. This was posted by Keith Woods on Twitter. The caption reads, "Black streamer Rajah Jackson almost kills a pro wrestler live on Kick. Jackson was scripted to deliver fake punches to the wrestler. Instead, he delivered 22 real punches to an unconscious man until separated. No impulse control, no honor, not compatible with civilized society." I totally agree, but let's watch this. This is the original incident. Again, this was all supposed to be fake, and the guy he's lifting up right here thinks it's fake. This is in the script, and then it goes off script, and this is what happens.
Hey, you gotta stop this shit, man. Hey. Stop this shit, man.
One of the more disgusting videos I have seen in a while, watching an unconscious man get punched in the face 22 times is tough. I don't like seeing that. And we see videos like that all the time. Videos like that are posted all over X. Curb stomping on a guy's head after he's already unconscious. This is their go-to. This is how these people act. These people, sorry, am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Anyways, next clip here. This shows the live stream moments before.
We don't want to see. I don't want to see this shit. I want to see Rampage Jackson react. Apologizes. Apology. Let's see.
This is what happened, Chad. He went to a pro wrestling event with his coach. Those pro wrestlers, they be just as crazy as MMA guys, right? The pro wrestling guy don't know my son, and he hit him over the head with like a can or a beer can or a bottle or something.
And I'll be transparent. I like Rajah, and obviously I adore Rampage. Me and Rampage have a great relationship. I love Rampage. And it's just by nature, my initial thought was when I heard about this, and I spoke with Rampage, when I heard about this, I went, all right, how can I defend Rajah?
Motherfuckers playing with me, bro. Real shit. One of them's a bitch and fucking bit me. I'm tired of everybody fucking playing with me and shit. Think I'm always playing and shit. Call me bitch and shit.
Rampage Jackson has finally explained what happened at the pro wrestling event and shed lights on why his son almost killed the pro wrestler. On the other hand, the MMA guru criticized Rajah Jackson harshly after the incident, calling him a dumb animal and saying he should have been put in a cage. He expressed frustration that no one took proper action when the situation unfolded, adding that Rajah should have been knocked out cold in the ring.
Yeah, to bring that sparring partner back, Tornado kick him again. Dumb animal. Brother, dumb animal, put him in a cage. Straight up. Rajah should have got fucking knocked out cold in that ring. No one was doing anything about it but that pink hair guy.
Moreover, Sean O'Malley commented on the situation, saying the strikes were brutal and crossed the line. He noted that the pro wrestler hit Roger Jackson over the head with a can, wondering if the wrestler thought it was part of the show, but stressed that you cannot hurt people like that and it had to stop.
Ooh, yeah, no, those are full on, like, I'm beating those were brutal. Yeah, oh. I did see the guy hit him over the head with a can, but if the guy thought that was part of, like what, I don't know, you can't hurt people like that. It's just,
However, Rampage Jackson explained that his son attended a pro wrestling event with his coach when a pro wrestler, not knowing him, struck him over the head with a can or bottle without warning. He said his son Raja did not react or fight back because he had advised him not to, but still, he was upset that someone would hit his son like that and then asked if he was going to sell it for the show. Rampage called the wrestler stupid and said he had to talk to his son's coach to keep himself from going to jail over the incident.
This is what happened, Chad. He went to a pro wrestling event with his coach. Those pro wrestlers, they be just as crazy as MMA guys, right? The pro wrestling guy don't know my son, and he hit him over the head with like a can or a beer can or a bottle or something. And my son didn't know it didn't know it was coming. Didn't know. They didn't tell my son. And he hit my son over the head. I guess he thought my son was a pro wrestler or something. And Roger didn't react, but Roger didn't fight though. He didn't do anything. I told Roger not to get punched, but still, nigga hit my son over the head, and then he asked my son, "You gonna sell it when you in pro wrestling?" So this motherfucker that hit my son is stupid.
Think so.
So in order for me not to go to fucking jail, I gotta talk to his coach.
Derek Brunson spoke about the matter, saying at first he believed it was just part of a wrestling act. But after finding out more, he understood it was an actual serious event. He condemned Roger Jackson's behavior, calling it careless and uncalled for, and said it should have never taken place. Brunson shared his concern for the wrestler who got hurt, wishing him a full recovery, and warned Raja that actions like this bring heavy consequences. He ended by pointing out how small conflicts can easily grow into major troubles that leave long-lasting damage.
All right, follow me real quick. When I first saw this, I thought these guys were playing. You know, WWE hardcore match.
Oh, look at this. Mox has him up. Oh! Disqualification, but please. No.
After doing my research, this was definitely real.
That's
Oh, you don't. Unavoidable.
Easy. He's not a fucking worker, bro.
Should have never happened.
I apologize. I appreciate it. I didn't know. I thought you were a worker.
At the end of the day, I hope the wrestler that was hit and pummeled is okay. And for Roger, your actions were out of line, so you have to deal with some big boy consequences for this one. All of us can learn a little something from this. Don't let small situations escalate into bigger situations that will ultimately cost you big consequences.
Gail Sonnen said he was giving his view without all the details, but warned the matter could become much more serious if Psycho Stu had major injuries like a broken jaw or missing teeth. He noted that the police already possesses clear video evidence of the attack, but have not acted yet, as they're waiting for Psycho Stu to officially give a statement before proceeding.
I'm getting in front of this and I'm making these predictions without having news if Psycho Stu is injured. If his jaw's broken and some teeth that are loose, all of a sudden you're having a very different conversation. But you have the police that are in possession of irrefutable evidence known as a video that an assault happened, and the police have not taken any action. And they won't take any action until a statement is made one way or the other by Psycho Stu.
Tim Welch voiced a strong reaction, explaining he could barely watch the clip because the man appeared completely unconscious during the assault. He stated it looked as if Roger Jackson's intent was to cause severe injury or possibly worse, whether he meant it or not. Welch labeled the act outrageous and insisted there is no justification for it, adding that punishment must follow, especially since it happened live and there were reports of a reward promised for a knockout.
12-13, like what the f? I can't even watch this. The kid's blacked out. The kid's blacked out, and I think his goal right there was to murder. Maybe not. Maybe not.
I think so.
Blacked out. Maybe he doesn't know what he's doing, but he damn near killed the man. That's crazy. He's got to get some punishment. There's just going to be no excuse. He's going to probably go away for a long while, especially on stream. He's on stream and he said 50 subs for a KO.
Later, Welch added that the outcome does not appear promising for Raja Jackson, even with Rampage's wealth and access to skilled lawyers. He said the event could fall under attempted murder, underlining the danger of such violent encounters and the need to avoid them, particularly for those quick to anger. Welch explained that while some martial arts skills may help in self-defense, continuing to strike someone who's already unconscious puts their life in serious danger. He called the situation disturbing and warned that this type of decision can easily end in a prison sentence.
And then they apologize. They apologize. He's okay. He's joking. They're streaming, and it was a genuine apology. Yeah, this isn't gonna be good. This isn't gonna be good for old Raja. Rampage's got money. I mean, they're gonna have some good lawyers. But it might be attempted murder. I mean, God. That's the thing. You got to be careful getting in street fights. If you can avoid street fights, avoid them. Especially if you got a temper tantrum. Maybe if you know a little jiu-jitsu and you get in a street fight here and there, it's okay. You can take care of yourself, get in a good position. But once you crack somebody and then you start seeing red and you're not thinking about what you're doing and you're punching them and they're already knocked out, good chance you're going to kill them. And now you might be in the pen. So, I mean, that was
Brendan Schwab said he initially wanted to defend Raja because of his close relationship with Rampage, but after watching all the footage and the full live stream, he admitted there was no way to justify what happened. He explained that the situation is serious and could have lasting consequences for Raja's future. Schwab mentioned that if the pro wrestler decides not to press charges, Raja will still face heavy criticism online but might avoid jail. However, if charges are filed, he warned that Raja could be looking at serious accusations like attempted murder or aggravated assault, making things go very tough for him moving forward.
And I'll be transparent. I like Raja, and obviously I adore Rampage. Me and Rampage have a great relationship. I love Rampage. And it's just by nature, my initial thought was when I heard about this, and I spoke with Rampage, when I heard about this, I went, all right, how can I defend Raja? I look at all the videos, I watched the full live stream and all that. I got nothing. I can't, you can't defend this. I see this, it's so sad. He was just getting started, and that all goes away if this veteran pro wrestler decides to press charges. That pro wrestler goes, this was a bit or this was a work, and he just thought that's how it works. I'm not pressing charges. Raja's still going to take a lot of heat online, but you're not doing jail time. Then we can figure it out. But if that dude wakes up and somebody's in his ear and goes, dude, you gotta make this dude pay. He has to learn a lesson and he presses charges. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be really tough. Attempted murder, aggravated assault, it's gonna be tough. Talking about felony, you know?
Kevin Lee commented by saying that although he respects Rampage Jackson, he thinks Rampage should hand over his son to the authorities and let him answer for his actions. He explained that if it were his own child, he would expect the same because such conduct cannot be overlooked. Kevin said Raja is an adult and needs to face the outcome of what he did, even if that means jail time. He did note that the wrestler had first struck Raja with a bottle, which was also wrong, but said that did not make the brutal retaliation acceptable.
And if it's Rampage, I love Rampage. But Rampage, turn your son in. He got to go lay down for a little bit. Like, if it was my son, that's what I would tell him. I mean, you a grown man, bro. You can't condone that type of behavior, bro. You got to go lay down for a little bit. We'll get you a good lawyer. You ain't going to be in there forever, but you got to go lay down. I get it. He hit you in the head with a bottle beforehand. I get it. He shouldn't have did that. I don't condone that either.
Lee went on to criticize how the attack happened, saying Raja waited hours and struck the man while he was on duty, acting in character, leaving him completely unprepared. He mentioned reports that the victim's heart stopped and was unconscious for several minutes, describing that as extremely serious. He pointed out that Raja's actions showed poor judgment and a lack of restraint, and he could not see how anyone would find that kind of violence reasonable. In his view, Raja must face jail time to take responsibility and learn from what he has done.
To wait hours until the man was working, which we all understand, he playing a character and he was in character and he working, and then you sneak him, because that's what you did. I mean, you snuck him. He wasn't expecting that, and you bro, they say dude flatline.
Remember the numerous videos of Rampage being creepy around female interviewers?
Dude, I'm telling you, dude. If
Asmongold-
Rampage wants to go down the who's a better person road, I really like Rampage. Honestly, I do. I really like his personality, and I've always been a fan of him as a fighter. If Rampage wants to go down the who's right now. So Twitch is kind of dying? I haven't seen the Twitch is dying. No, I'm not seeing where he did it. But maybe you're talking about the one I've already seen. Yeah, I'll check it out. 13 hours ago. Damn, I'm popping off. I got a viral comment on... Not a viral. I got a top comment on that one. I don't know why I said viral.
This is him talking about it again. I'll get to this. Okay, here we go.
It's a lot of like ignorant people on the internet. I understand that. You know, it is what it is. Shit don't affect me, don't bother me, but people like MMA Guru, you know what I'm saying, that guy is supposed to be some kind of journalist, and his racism came out. His racism showing. You know?
How?
You know what I'm saying? It's 2025, like, you know what I'm saying? People do shit. People do shit in this world. Some people fuck up.
Raja didn't fuck up because he was black. He fucked up because he's a moron. There's plenty of black people that don't crash out like Raja. Like, what are you talking about?
Some people do shit. It shouldn't get turned into race. Nobody wants to hear a bunch of racist shit about their son, no matter what race they are. He must don't have kids himself.
What did he say?
I don't want to repeat what he said, but he.
What did he say? I'm not gonna say what he said.
But he said a whole bunch of. He said like he showed his racism, basically what he did. Like, I'm from the South. The stuff he said, only racist people say. A lot of racist people came forward and said stuff and DM me racist shit. It don't bother me because I don't care about racist people. But MMA Guru, he has a platform.
Yeah.
And he should stay neutral because he's giving his opinions on fights and stuff like that. So now people gonna
That was not a fight, bro. That was not a fight.
Watching him when black fighters fight and the shit he say.
Yikes.
You know what I'm saying?
So the logic is that, like, when MMA, what is it, Guru looks at the next fight with like a black fighter, he's gonna be like, damn, I can't believe this black fighter tried to murder the other person. What are you doing, man? I understand that, like, obviously there's a lot of people that are racist and it's not justified. It's just some bullshit, right? But, like, don't go and act like a specific person is fucking racist. Like, that's some bullshit. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? He's right, though. Not with MMA Guru. Like, yeah, I don't think so. He called him a wild animal? He is. Being a wild animal isn't exclusive to black people. There's plenty of white people that act like wild animals.
Okay. Asmongold defended you, dude. Me and Asmon, it's only a matter of time before we just collab straight out. Because me and Asmongold are just, you know what I mean? Me and Asmon see eye to eye on many things.
He's just not into the fighting like you are. That's the main thing. Unless you're into gaming, bro. I don't know. But anyways, I just want to see him do that. Raja Jackson assault just came so much worse. Hey, there's me. There's 3 watching. Hey, I appreciate you 3 watching. But yeah, I'm just upset with this whole. Everybody's going down. Here's Raja Jackson has been arrested yet because there's no charges have been made. Right? There's nothing. The charges haven't been set by Psycho Stu, so there's no arrest at this time, I believe. Nick Fuente calls out black conservative Jason Whitlock. Okay, I've been hearing a lot about Jason Whitlock. I don't know too much about him. I guess he's like this black conservative guy that I do want to get into eventually. Mike Perry versus Jeremy Stevens face-off? Nah. Let's do Nick Fuentes ends Charlie Kirk's career with 1 comment. What the fuck is this?
What's up, guys? I got a
what I want is Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes to debate. I've been wanting Charlie Kirk to debate Destiny. But to be honest, Destiny's kind of unhinged. And I feel like there's no real challenge. It would be ideological challenge versus Charlie Kirk and Fuentes would be a personality challenge, which would be even better because I like getting into the introspectives and the ideologies.
For you, this was posted on Twitter. Charlie Kirk reposted it and got absolutely ratioed by Dan Bilzerian, Nick Fuentes, and others. The original video says Charlie Kirk perfectly breaks down how people who blame everything on the Jews are just projecting. Then Charlie Kirk reposted this and quoted it saying, "Jew hate has no place in civil society. It rots the brain. Reject it." Charlie Kirk, famous defender of Israel and Judaism.
You can't deny the killing of the, like, I get it, right? We're Israel's allies. I understand that. But you got to do it quickly if you're going to do something this crazy. But they're literally blockading them and kind of starving them out and then shooting at them at the same time. And there's kids involved and it's really bad looking. And it's like, dude, fucking, if you're going to kill them all, fucking, you should have done that a long time ago and then covered it up. But we're here right now and the whole world is seeing this shit. So it's like, Israel's got to make a move. What are you going to do? You're going to let them fucking go, or what are you going to do? You can't kill them all now. Too many eyes. You know what I'm saying? So you got to fucking work with it now. Yep. The Palestinian thing, you got to work with it. You got to find some diplomacy there.
But we're going to watch this, and then we'll go over, I'm going to read some of the replies. They're really funny. Let's watch the original clip here. This is Charlie calling out Jew hatred.
Thank you for coming, Charlie. And I had a quick question about anti-Semitism online. Another question here they asked about Candace Owens, and I'm a big fan of you. I was a big fan of her, but she's obviously been going down this anti-Semitic bent. And through her, I'm kind of finding out about these other characters online, like Nick Fuentes. I'm sure you've heard of him. And these people, they've been active for a long time, and it seems like they've just been ignored, which is working. But now they're kind of surging in popularity. And as someone who I enjoy watching your debates, are they people you'd be willing to engage with and maybe shut them down in a way through a debate or something like that?
Well, I mean, I'm going to debate Candace. But no, look, I'll debate anybody that shows up at our campus events first and foremost. But I do want to take what you say and extrapolate that there is a corner of the internet of people that want to point and blame the Jews for all their problems. Everybody, this is demonic and it's from the pit of hell. And it should not be tolerated. Period. But it goes to a structural problem of an entire generation that has economic resentment. They don't own anything. They're not getting married. They're not having children. They're depressed. They're anxious. They're staring at their screens all day long. And if all of a sudden your extrapolation of all that is, well, it's the Jews' fault, that is sloppy and shallow thinking. And not only that, they say, oh, it's the Jews' fault. Okay, let's kind of play this out. Well, tuberculosis, that used to kill about 1 billion people. It's a group of Jewish scientists that came up with the antibiotic that cured tuberculosis. How about CPR, the MRI machine? There's over 500 million lives that were saved over the last 50 years because of people that were Jewish scientists that were working on things. They'll never say thank you to the Jews, but they'll always say shame on the Jews. It's weird how that works. And finally, they always blame the Jews for stuff. Jewish people are an ethnicity. So therefore, definitionally, you have people that are secular, orthodox, religious, that are all over the spectrum. You're trying to blame an entire ethnicity for a singular problem. Hold on, let's take a step back here. Instead of that, what could you possibly do in your own personal life to improve your own state of being? If you are blaming 0.02% of the world's population for all of your problems, that is not going to be good for your soul. It's not good for your psychology. It's not good for your future in any way, shape, or form. And so I would just say this, that any young person that goes into this hyper online brain rot, you are serving yourself over to your own demise. You are serving yourself into a suicide mission that will not make you happier and not make you healthier. Instead, here's what your attitude should be. Your attitude should be like, I can't own stuff, I got it, can't own a home, I'm not getting married, I don't know who to date. Said, wow, the challenges are immense. I'm going to now overcome all those challenges and go on an adventure. I'm going to prove everyone wrong. I'm now not going to be a victim. I'm going to be a victor. I'm going to dig deep.
That's fucking hilarious. Not being a victim. Jesus Christ, dude.
This is still a great country. This is a free country. I'm going to use my agency. I'm going to use my ability. And I'm not just going to go point in the corner and be like, I'm overweight because of the Jews. Women don't want to. Nobody said that. Nobody's blamed the Jews for being unhealthy or fat. Maybe somebody did that, but I mean, that's not really the complaint that we have, Charlie. That's not what we've said.
He's kind of going over the...
I'm not... I love everybody. I'm not anti-Semitic. Date me because of the Jews. How about this? As Jordan Peterson would say, sit up straight with the Jews. How about this? As Jordan Peterson would say, sit up straight with your shoulders back, follow the rules for life, make yourself interesting, learn something new every single day, and instead of pointing at a small group of people and engaging in this brain rot, become a better person. You'll be a happier and healthier, more joyful and productive person. Right, so the complaint is not that I can't get a girlfriend because of the
This
Jews.
guy's fucking
although you could potentially argue, this would require me to go on a tangent, but you could make that argument. Bro got absolutely ratioed. So this video had 12,000 likes. Dan Bilzerian, our boy Dan Bilzerian, comments, if your position was defensible, you wouldn't be afraid to debate at Nick Fuentes. That got 28,000 likes. Libs Hate Us commented, trust me, bro. Charlie with a yarmulke on. Evan Kilgore, read the room. We all think you're a cuck. Signed, a former TPUSA ambassador. Evan Kilgore no longer works for TPUSA. Good job, Evan. Nature is racist just commented fuck you with a picture of Charlie's ugly mug. Here's Nick's comment on the video. You'll debate anyone except for me. You have given countless lame excuses to avoid me and in the end just resort to calling me a bigot, which is exactly what you accuse your opponents of doing. Whether you choose to confront me or not, this charade is already over. 45,000 likes, absolutely ratioed Charlie's 12,000 likes on the repost.
Wow.
And so true, Charlie. So true.
12,000 to 45,000. That's fucking almost what? 3 times the amount of likes. That's crazy.
Debate Nick Fuentes, but it's actually though it's too late. Nick's more famous than you. They're not showing Charlie Kirk clips on Iranian television. They're showing Nick Fuentes clips on Iranian television. Nick is huge, and I mean, yeah, you can't ignore this guy anymore. But I totally agree. It's already too late. Charlie Kirk has lost all credibility. You're a Shabbos goy. This clip is awesome.
Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Shabbat shalom. Good Shabbos. Turn off your phone. Enjoy your family. God bless America. See you guys Sunday night in Albuquerque.
This guy, this is the most Jewed up white dude ever.
Fucking
wishing
bro.
Everyone a happy Shabbos. Oh, well, I can't show that on YouTube. Anyways, Charlie Kirk.
It's really just, that's just fucking funny, bro.
Absolutely ratioed. What do you guys think? Is Charlie Kirk done for?
Charlie Kirk is a pussy, bro. He's fucking not going against Nick Fuentes, the one person he's scared of. I swear. Because I feel like Nick Fuentes is going to pick him apart. And I don't even like Nick Fuentes to the T like that, bro. Nick Fuentes just challenging him on his own shit and saying, you're full of shit because of what you're saying about what we can't say about the Jews or whatnot. And deflecting the whole question entirely, saying you're too fat and you're going to blame the Jews because you can't get bitches. Like, what the fuck? Like, where did that even come from? The projection, dog. It's crazy. Anyways, let's go to former anchor lose all credibility. No. I want some more fucking news. Give me more news. Give me more bad news. Fuck. Terrible. Nick Fuentes exposed how America was betrayed as a message for who? For dual loyalty individual. For Jews that live in America. Oh, I want to hear Jim Cornette. Watching videos with paid product placement sponsors endorsements. Watching videos with what? When a creator tells us that their video contains a paid promotion, you'll display a disclosure. What the fuck is all this?
Every goddamn where else that I'd ever been successful or professional or fucking just not allow stupid things like this to happen because this is another one of those modern phenomenons that could never happen in the legitimate professional wrestling industry. Everybody's internet smart. Yes, if you have a low budget school and you got a low budget show.
Jim don't know what's going on with the streaming world. It's kind of hard to say. MMA Guru's stream gets overloaded with Raja Jackson impressions. Rampage Jackson's son. Wait, what? All right. Nick Fuentes on Scottish Axe Girl is out of control. Oh yeah, I heard about this. I guess there was a girl that was protecting her sister from immigrants. I haven't even seen that video. That's actually pretty interesting. Let me click on this.
Where a group of little girls is confronted by what seems to be a foreigner, maybe a gypsy, maybe a Muslim, some sort of migrant. Certainly the guy's not Scottish. Doesn't belong there. He's not Scottish. And these little girls are taking a video of what appears to, or rather the migrant is, this outsider is taking a video confronting a group of would appear to be 12, 13, 14-year-old girls.
I love Steel Ponder. This shit is fucking funny. We're going back and forth on the DM. Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at this. I'm laughing at my DMs.
Girls. And moving closer to them in a menacing way, in a threatening way, shoving a camera in their face. One of the girls is armed with a battle axe and a kitchen knife. Dual wielding. And she's saying, get back, get away from my friends. And the video's insane.
Why you fucking with us? Show the knife. Show the knife. Show the
away from us.
Show the knife. Show the knife.
Don't touch her.
That's it. That's it. Show the knife. That's it.
Don't touch my little sister. She has 12. She has 12 and you just bastard me.
And it goes viral, and everybody is using this as a rallying cry.
Fucking crazy. That clip is insane, dude. You're coming up on them, and he's saying show the knife because he wants to show, like, they're in the wrong for holding knives. But I'm like, bro, you're clearly antagonizing the situation. Like, I don't know. I guess because, like, guns and, like, knives in United States are kind of more... does Scottish have... Hold on, let me look up. Does Scotland... Do Scottish have freedom of guns and knives? Hold on, let's Google. Does Scotland have freedom of guns and knives? Okay, these are does have freedom of guns and knives. No, Scotland does not have freedom of guns and knives. Both are subject to strict legal controls. Knife and gun ownership is highly regulated. No right to bear arms for self-defense. Holy shit. Okay, so look, they don't even have the right to own guns and knives and to protect themselves from what's clearly is happening. The migrants are coming over, and they have the Sharia, the Muslim laws or whatever. So they're getting raped and shit. So everybody's freaking out. And so these girls are holding their fucking, they're like, don't fuck with us. And the guy's like, look what they have. They're scared of me. These little girls are scared of me. They're holding axes and knives. So he's trying to prove, like, I guess this migrant is trying to prove, like, they're scared of us and they're holding weapons against us. And I'm like, yeah, because they're fucking scared of you. Okay, if I was that person and I see a knife and like, clearly, this is a weird situation. I'm a grown-ass man, and there's little girls with fucking axes and knives. I'd be like, yo, you're fucking crazy, obviously, right? Because I'm like, what the fuck are you? You're that crazy to hold a knife and that? I'm not trying to, like, I'm like, yo, chill the fuck out. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is all that about? I'd be like, I wouldn't even be filming. I'd be walking away. But if I had the audacity to film it, not the audacity, the whereabouts to film it, I would be like, yo, this person's fucking wild. They have a knife and axe. And I call the police. Like, yo, what the fuck is going on over here? Granted, I live in a really bad area, so police probably wouldn't even come. But regardless, I'm not looking to perpetuate her feelings on it. I'm just, like, moving along, And I'd be like, hey, watch out. She's got an axe and knife. To everybody around, like, yo, just everybody be aware there's fucking weapons on the premise, and if you ain't got shit to defend yourself with, you know, kind of walk away too. That's how I'd be about it if I were running into something like that. But it's like, yeah, this guy was like antagonizing and following them, and the girls could like, get the fuck away from us, and they're little kids, you know. So it's like, oh, just get the fuck away from them. Like, just walk away, dude. I don't know why he kept closer to them. Like, dog, they're already scared of you, and they're really brandishing their weapons to you. You know, it's like, ugh.
People are saying finally, and it's sort of tragic that it is this way. But as I said at the top of the show, all too often the situation is that these adult fighting age men are in a place where they don't belong. They're from the Middle East, they're from Africa, they're all over Europe, and they prey upon the population. They're stealing, mugging.
Let me write this. Let me put this down. And hold on. As far as the immigrant that was filming the two little girls in Scotland that had the axe and the knives, and he's moving towards them with his camera, and I think he had his other boys with him, all of adult fighting age, military age, and they're like, hey, what are you doing with those knives and axes? Obviously they're fucking scared of these guys. Why are you gonna go towards these girls? Like, he said, show the knife, show the axe, like as if they're the problem, and she's obviously brandishing the weapon saying, don't fucking rape us. All right, we're going to fucking slash you if you try to get near us. And the guy's acting like the victim of like, yeah, there's no fucking issue going on over here that people are getting raped by the culture that's coming, immigrating in. But it's like, you are that insane to walk towards a person that has those weapons and trying to get a closer look at those weapons to say, what are you going to do with those weapons? Make sure they got everything.
Adult fighting age, military age, and they're like, hey, what are you doing with those knives and axes? Obviously, they're fucking scared of these guys. Why are you gonna go towards these girls? Like,
right.
Show the knife, show the axe, like as if they're the problem, and she's obviously brandishing the weapon, saying, "Don't fucking rape us. All right, we're gonna fucking slash you if you try to get near us." And the guy's acting like the victim of like, yeah, there's no fucking issue going on over here that people are getting raped by the culture that's coming, immigrating in. But it's like, you are that insane to walk towards a person that has those weapons and trying to get a closer look at those weapons to say, what are you going to do with them? As far as the immigrant that was filming the girls,
harassing, raping, attacking. And the native population just takes it. It's young European boys that are being stabbed to death. Young European girls being raped.
Yep.
Being groomed, abused. It's the taxpayer that's getting abused when they're abusing these public services, getting put up in hotels, and they get arrested for crimes. They get released because they have no papers. And so it's refreshing to see a young girl stand up for herself when her country's failed her. The government failed her, the police failed her, the men failed her. A little girl, 14-year-old girl, has to be out there armed with a battle axe defending herself from strange men that shouldn't be here. We're allowing this because of ideology. Immediately became a rallying cry. Today, it was revealed that that girl was arrested.
Oh, fuck.
14-year-old girl was charged for brandishing weapons. This is a story. It's from a Scottish source, so it doesn't sound American. It says a teenage girl has been charged by police after being caught brandishing a bladed weapon in the middle of the street. The police in Scotland said the youngster was dealt with in Dundee at the weekend. Reports had been made that there was a girl in possession of a weapon. The force said the youngster involved was charged over the incident. A Scottish policeman confirmed these circumstances. They said around 7:40 p.m. on Saturday, We received a report of a female youth with a bladed weapon in St. Anne Lane, Dundee. Officers attended, and a 14-year-old girl was charged in connection. So the little girl got charged? Why? You have an adult foreigner approaching a group. Why is this adult foreigner approaching a group of girls? And we have to believe, for this story to make any sense, that in Scotland, there are roving gangs of 13-year-old little white girls with battle axes and knives picking on immigrants. Really? You believe that?
Facts.
Or do you think that there was a predatory migrant who didn't belong there that was menacing them in the park? And in order to defend themselves, maybe they went home and collected weapons. What sounds more likely to you? What sounds right to you? That the United Kingdom is currently under siege by roving gangs of little girls with bladed weapons? Or that you have foreigners inside the United Kingdom that are preying on the vulnerable, which includes women, children, little girls, and they defended themselves.
Right.
Well, we have gone insane as a society. We hate our own race. We're afraid of our own race. We're afraid of being who we are. We hate ourselves. So we believe the former. The police arrest the girls.
Fucking retards.
They don't arrest the migrant that's filming them and approaching them and menacing them.
Right.
They arrest the girls that are defending themselves.
Can arrest both of them if you're gonna fucking arrest the girl. You know what I'm saying? Like, what would that be? Harassment?
Same exact story played out in Minnesota. Today we received an update about Shiloh Hendricks, who you might recall, she was in Minnesota. She was at the park with her child by herself. And a couple of Somali guys who don't even have children came up and started harassing her. Now, they claim that she called them the N-word.
Fuck them.
They pull out their phone, start recording, and a verbal altercation ensues. Shiloh goes away. It becomes a big story. Shiloh Hendricks raises all this money. Today, it's been announced that Shiloh Hendricks was charged with multiple counts of disorderly conduct.
So stupid.
Really? This is the story. It says the Rochester City Attorney's Office moves to leverage 3 counts of disorderly conduct against Shiloh Hendricks, a woman who used racial slurs against a Somali child with a disability, and a since viral video in April. Oh, the horror. A slur? The charges would amount to a maximum of 90 days in jail or a $1,000 fine. The legal complaint is still subject to review and approval by a district court judge, but it concludes that, quote, Shiloh wrongfully and unlawfully engaged in offensive, obscene, abusive, boisterous, or noisy conduct, or an offensive, obscene, or abusive language that would reasonably tend to arouse alarm, anger, or resentment in others. Oh, she aroused resentment in others. Throw her in jail. The city spokesperson said, quote, this was a situation that deeply affected many people, especially our communities of color, and caused real turmoil. We acknowledge the lasting impacts this incident has had, not only on those directly involved and across our community, but also in broader conversations happening at the state and national level. So she's being charged because of the national pain of a racial slur that was said on a playground. These moments remind us of the complexity and far-reaching impacts of situations like this. The city remains committed to staying engaged and proceeding with the transparency and care that support accountability and progress in Rochester. That really feels like progress. This is a story that is playing out all across the country, all across the white Western world every single day. And the story is this: our countries have been invaded by outsiders, by foreigners, by aliens. People don't like that language. It's what they are. They are from other lands. They speak other languages. They worship strange gods. They look different, act different, have different customs, different foods. They are foreigners. They are outsiders. They are aliens. They would be unrecognizable to the people that founded this country, that fought for its independence, that fought for its union, that fought for its freedom.
There is I think there's a state, I forgot which it is, but there's a state in the USA that's holding a bunch of Muslims over here that are practicing Sharia law. that I heard that they killed their daughter, and out of like a disgrace of the family type shit. But then the judge like deemed it okay, and they were sent home free. Like the husband, no, the father and the mother killed their daughter out of sheer law shit, and then they were sent home. Like the court case said it was deemed whatever. Like they weren't charged with murder. But that's crazy to me. That's on U.S. soil? Like that's weird. Like if you're going to come over to a new country, you got to live by the rules, right? Like why are we giving them special privileges? Next thing you know, they could kill like whatever non culture terrorist in their eyes and call it defense. And then are we gonna let that one go too when it was really a murder? Like what the fuck are we doing over here?
It's expansion. They'd be unrecognizable. They are foreigners. They are outsiders. And they are unwanted. Who decided that Minnesota, which was previously one of the best states in the country, highest reported rates of happiness, best healthcare, best education, whose idea was it to dump Somalians into Minnesota? Somalia isn't even a country. Trump has bombed Somalia 70 times this year. It's 3 different states. It's Puntland, it's Somaliland, it's Somalia. They're fighting off ISIS and Al-Shabaab, and there's a civil war. Whose idea was it to bring these clannish, low IQ, violent gangsters and thugs worshiping Islam into utopia, into the white utopia known as Minnesota? Whose idea was this? We don't want these people here. Whose decision was it? Who looked at Minnesota, its healthcare system, its public services, its education system, its infrastructure, and said, we need a major Somalian enclave right here in our playgrounds and neighborhoods? It's just like the Afghans and the Pakistanis and the Muslims in the United Kingdom, in Europe. It's just like the Venezuelans and the Salvadorians in New York or in Texas or California. It's just like the Indians and the Chinese in Seattle and Portland. You look at our beautiful country, national parks, skyscrapers, natural and man-made wonders. You look at the country that we had. You look at the videos of Detroit, of Chicago, of New York, and LA. Whose idea was it to invite the whole world here? And they come here, and these people have all kinds of problems. They're rude. They're inconsiderate. They don't assimilate. They don't like us. They don't respect us. They don't see themselves as Americans. They help each other out at our expense. They have disdain for us. They feel entitled to this country, the sense of arrogance of some of the foreigners. And those are the best ones. The worst ones are violent. They're rapists. The worst ones are bringing the drug cartels. The worst ones are shaking people down, taking over apartment complexes. The worst ones are smashing your windows and stealing your bags. The worst ones are mugging you at gunpoint. This is the situation we find ourselves in. It's also the native black population, too. They'd fit right in with the outsiders. Go figure. Imagine that. And what is happening is that the white people are being victimized, and it seems like there's nothing we can do about it. To do anything about these brown and black problems would be racist. And that's what they are, brown and black problems. Carjackings, that's a brown and black problem. You don't get carjacked by a white guy. You don't get carjacked by a woman. You get carjacked by a brown or a black man. Okay? These are brown and black problems. We can't do anything about them because they're racist. So the white people are being pushed in front of subway trains. The white people are being stabbed in the neck at a track field. The white people are being mugged and beaten up at gunpoint. They're being executed. The white women are being made uncomfortable and preyed upon. And the police, the government, will do nothing about it. They won't remove the people. They won't arrest the people. They won't lock them in jail. They will not punish them. And instead, what is happening increasingly is when white people stand up for themselves, verbally, they get arrested. That's what Shiloh Hendricks did. She stood up for herself verbally. First Amendment protected speech. We do still live in America, don't we? You may not like what she said, but she got in an altercation. She used some choice words. She's now going to jail. Not the Somalians giving her a hard time, a young lady with her child at the park. In Scotland, the young 14-year-old girl is getting arrested, not the migrants making her uncomfortable. And there's a word for this. It's called anarcho-tyranny. This is a term coined by Sam Francis. We've used it on the show before. Increasingly, we live in a state of both anarchy and tyranny. And if you live in a major city, you know what this feels like. Anarcho-tyranny means if you go out and leave your belongings in your car will be broken into and your belongings will be stolen.
Right.
If you drive through
Oakland.
certain neighborhoods at night, you will be carjacked. Your car will be stolen out of your driveway. You will be followed home and held up at your home. You will be burglarized. It is like a state of anarchy. Simultaneously, if you drive 11 miles per hour over the speed limit, you're going to get a speeding ticket. You're going to get hit with a major tax bill. You have to pay off your student loans. You have to pay high fees, high costs. You have to work for your money. Other people get welfare, food stamps, subsidized housing, subsidized phones, everything. You got to work for a living, and everything's getting more expensive all the time. Insurance is going up. Healthcare is going up. Taxes are going up. Housing costs are going up. Entertainment subscriptions are going up. The taxes on those things are going up. And you got to find a way to make it all work while wages are stagnant. Meanwhile, illegal immigrants go to the emergency room. They get their health care for free. They don't have to worry about insurance. They get subsidized housing. They don't have to worry about interest rates, insurance costs. They get SNAP. They get food assistance. They don't got to worry about the cost of groceries. It's on us. And we are the only ones expected to follow the law. If a criminal comes to your house and tries to steal your car for the third time, and in a fit of rage, you chase after him, however crazy it is, you go to jail for 60 years. The kids get let off the hook.
All right, if I may, real quick, won't take too long. Was just taking a couple notes, but he's frustrated. He's frustrated. White men in America in particular, I won't speak about other countries. White men are frustrated. They've allowed themselves to be blamed for everything, and this is mostly feeding into every type of movement, whether you're feeding into the feminist movement, feeding into this Me Too, feeding into the trans movement, Black Lives Matter, and there's a large population of young white men growing up now who now are pissed off. They're blamed for everything, and then they don't receive any benefits. They're starting to feel like the victims. And it's all reactionary, right? It's all reactionary. So it's almost as if, like I said before, with these victim groups, I'm almost starting to call them like the forever victim groups, the ones that we continue to see that have been reactionary in other ways, whether it's BLM, the trans movement, the feminist movement, Me Too, all these different things. Now white people are feeling like the victims, and they're fed up with being blamed for everything, especially the white men. And I'm almost starting to think, like when I think about DEI, you know how they always say that white women are actually the biggest beneficiaries of DEI? I'm almost starting to think that that's intentional to kind of like get them to buy into a lot of the other things. And meanwhile, the white men are still suffering. This is what they're feeling. This is what they're feeling. Y'all tell me if y'all think it's different. I don't know. Y'all tell me. This is something that I realized maybe like a year ago that.
How does DEI help white women? Hold on. Let me ask. DEI programs have disproportionately benefit white by improving their access to leadership roles, helping to close the gender gap pay, and promoting policies like paid parental leave and flexible work schedules. According to various reports and analysis, while DEI initiatives aim to create a more equality workplace for all underrepresented groups, research indicates that white women have been often been the primary beneficiaries of these efforts, getting more ground in corporate leadership and board seats compared to women of color. Okay.
When we talk about white supremacy, and then I looked up the numbers as far as who's outpacing who in America when it comes to household income. White Americans were like 7 or 8 on that list out of 15. It was most of the Asian cultures. Most of the Asian cultures, and more specifically, the Indian cultures that were doing so well. So here, we always talk about white supremacy, blame white people for any and everything. And in all actuality, all it does is create a racial divide between black and white Americans. I know Tariq Nasheed always likes to say foundational black Americans, but think about it from a standpoint of foundational Americans overall, black and white, are losing when it comes to America based on all of these liberal democratic policies that have gone into helping the migrants, helping all of these other areas. And to be totally honest, it's the social programs with the black people. The difference is when it comes to the black people, these social programs do not benefit us. Just like Lyndon B. Johnson said when he released his Great Society and those social programs, that allegedly he said that he'd have Negroes, and he used a different word, voting Democrat for the next 100 years just based on these social programs, because he knew that that would keep black people on the hook, right? Teach somebody to fish, they can be independent, move on their own. But give them just scraps, they'll keep coming to you. So the social programs have harmed black people, but when it comes to these other cultures, they're coming in and they're actually using it to their advantage, and they're outpacing everybody in America. So meanwhile, white men are still getting blamed for everything. They're feeling like victims. They're not winning when it comes to making the most amount of money in this country. We like to scream white supremacy, but meanwhile, they're not actually receiving any of the benefits from America. And then you have a guy like Trump who's supposed to be pushing these America First agendas, and then he gets in office and it seems as if now he's not pushing the America First agenda. So what are these young men, specifically white men, what are they thinking in their minds? They're pissed off, they're frustrated. They're feeling like nobody represents them. People sit around and wonder why Nick Fuentes has the following that he has. There's a reason. It's all reactionary. People are reacting. White men are reacting to the fact that they don't feel that this country is serving them, and this country, let's just be real, it's a European white American country. They're pissed off that it's not serving them, that it's doing for everybody else but them. And Nick Fuentes seems to be one of the only people who's willing to speak out against it or to speak up for them. And what a lot of other cultures are realizing, or I should say perhaps starting to wake up and see, is that the same thing that Nick Fuentes is preaching is the same thing that Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, what Dr. Umar talks about now, what a lot of other nationalist leaders have been discussing for years. And it's pretty much an unapologetic expression of, no, we need to prioritize us, whatever us is considered for you. We need to prioritize us. We need to be unapologetic about putting our wants, our needs, and prioritizing us first rather than prioritizing everybody else, because we've spent so much time prioritizing everybody else, and all it's done is land us in last place. We're blamed for everything, but now we're not doing as well.
Oh, shit.
Let's continue.
You're on the subway, someone brandishes a knife, starts acting erratically. You leap into action, put him in a chokehold, he dies. You get your life destroyed. You get set up on a murder charge. Not these people that are pushing people in front of the subway every day, every week, all the time. Anarchy for them, tyranny for us. Anarchy for the criminals, anarchy for the brown and black people, anarchy for the migrants and the invaders, tyranny for the white people, the law-abiding people, the taxpayers, the rule followers. And you really need one or the other. If it were anarchy, you would have
fucking
chaos.
trash-ass
But
game.
at least vigilantism would fill the gap that law enforcement left. If you had a total state of anarchy, you could say, it's pretty chaotic out here, but at least we have a higher degree of freedom. We can defend ourselves with lethal force. We can look after our own interests. We can gang up as gang. A way to make anarchy work. It's chaotic, but it's free. And tyranny. Things are a lot less free, and you're worried about surveillance, and probably you might get picked up by the government. But at least the streets are safe. At least, like in China, you don't live in fear of walking the streets at night, because Although the government's oppressive, there's a benefit there too. You don't have to worry about those things. There's no crime. We get the worst of both worlds. We're not safe. It's not peaceful. Crime is out of control. The crimes don't even get solved. So it's complete chaos, but we are disallowed from doing anything about it. Vigilantes, good Samaritans are punished. Militias are outlawed. White identity politics might as well be a crime. Even stick up for white people, try to look out for them. It's a DOJ civil rights case. And if you try to defend your life or anything like that, you're the one that's going to jail. You still got to pay your taxes at the end of the year. You still got to go to work on time. You still got to get on the highway, which has become a death trap. You got to get in your car and commute to work where black people are driving on the shoulder. Indians are getting CDL licenses that they bought or they scammed the government out of. And they're creating mile-high pile-ups and killing multiple people. We can't keep living like this. Something has got to change. Pick a lane here. You don't want to enforce the laws? Fine. Let me drive 70 miles an hour. Let me not pay my taxes. You don't want to enforce the laws on the black people? Stop fucking pulling me over. Don't fucking arrest me when I kill somebody outside my house. Don't arrest me, and that's not referencing me in particular for legal reasons. Don't arrest me if someone comes and steals my car and their brain is painted on the cement. Or pick the other. Start enforcing the laws, but enforce them against everybody, not just me. But it is, at the end of the day, this is a problem of diversity. Diversity brought these problems here. We have this dissonance because we have an open society. We have self-government. Yeah, that worked when it was all white people. Don't tell me about education. That worked for white people. Self-government, open society, that worked when it was just white people. Now that we got to share this space with Africans and Indians and Chinese and Salvadorians and Venezuelans, doesn't work anymore. Okay? They can't handle guns. They can't handle fucking spears. We're giving them Glocks. They can't handle it. Okay? Welfare state, direct democracy, all this kind of stuff, it's not working with diversity. We are now a multiracial empire. It's got to be governed like an empire now. It's either got to be governed like a confederation or an empire. But this is no longer a republic. Fuck all that. People talk about a republic if you can keep it. How do I translate republic into Cantonese? How do I translate republic into Igbo? How do I translate republic into Urdu? Can somebody get a translator here, please? A republic, if you can keep it. That's fucking over. We had a republic when people said the Pledge of Allegiance, and I know that's a modern innovation, but we had a republic when people saluted the flag, and there was a sense of familiarity and togetherness, a sense of commonality and coherence. There doesn't exist that anymore. People are fighting. People are bringing this fucked up stuff to our doors. And either the government's got to do something about it or you got to let the people do something about it. But it can't go on like this.
If the police and the government don't do something, everything I'm hearing from Nick Fuentes is people are going to start to go back to what they used to do when they were scared, right? When they were fearful, when they were taking matters into their own hands. When my parents or their parents were growing up, there was a fear going into certain white neighborhoods where you had to be more on your toes, right? Making sure that you don't act up because there were repercussions for your actions. That's not there anymore. Whether it's black or any other culture, whatever, if people are not going to behave and have other people living in fear, then there's going to at a certain point be a reaction to it. It just is what it is. People are going to look out for their survival. And when they get in survival mode, they're going to start to react in ways that are more extreme than they would typically react. It just is what it is.
I'm sick and tired of our options being you can either be murdered by a black person or you go to jail for 1,000 years for defending your life in the wrong way. Those seem to be the two options. There's a story last week. Guy in Denver, Colorado, they try to steal his car 3 times.
Damn.
On the 3rd time, the guy snaps. He gets in his car, he chases them, he kills one of them.
Oh, shit.
They put him in jail for 54 years. Now, you say that's a crazy reaction. You don't get in your car and chase somebody shooting out of the car. That's insane. But we've been pushed to this point. It didn't start that way. It didn't start that way the first time that guy had his car almost get stolen. It didn't happen the second time that guy almost got his car stolen. It happened the 3rd time. And you want to know why it happened? Because the first time, I'm sure this guy lost his shit. I'm sure he was terrified. His wife was terrified. He's paying a lot of money for this house. He works a job. You work too hard to have to worry about your piece of shit Elantra being stolen and your life being in jeopardy. So what do? You call the cops. And you know what they do? They show up and they say, we can do nothing for you. Well, file a report online, they say. They do fucking nothing. Nothing. And it never gets better. And it's traumatic. I'm sure this guy's kept awake at night. This guy maybe starts carrying a gun. Maybe buys a gun. He's worried. We're not used to living like this. It happens a second time. What do you think he does the second time? Loses his shit again. Out of his mind. Calls the cops. This is the second time. What is going on? 3rd time? It's go time. Get in the car, put the seatbelt on. Motherfucker, it's go time. Somebody dies. 54 years in prison. It's his fault? What's the responsibility of the police to enforce the laws? What's the responsibility of these fucking people not to steal cars? How many times do you almost get your car stolen? Do you get a gun pointed in your face? How many times does your home get invaded before you say, you know what? I'm going to be the solution now. We always start in the middle of the story. Always. We never start in the beginning. It didn't start out this way. This is where we got. After we've seen countless videos of bystanders pushed in front of trains, stabbed in the neck, for nothing. Teen takeovers, vandalism and destruction, commerce drying up, businesses leaving the city, people being followed home, confronted in their driveway, their elderly parents, their children, students, college kids. Didn't start out this way. We were making movies like Crash. Canceled Michael Richards for saying too many times. Now, they wanted us to abolish the police, and look what happened. After they looted the phone store, the liquor store, they told us abolish the police, and look what that accomplished. Now we live in fear. Now the cops do nothing. Now the criminals and the opportunists have free reign. And if we try to stop them, we go to jail. They don't go to jail. We go to jail. There should be a revolution at that point. And these cock-sucking FBI agents, they're going to create Telegram group chats to entrap 18-year-olds that post a fucking 4chan meme. Hey, pigs, why don't you arrest the fucking criminals? We've all seen that. Netflix documentaries, undercover operations, sting operations. They're more worried about 8chan and 4chan and fucking active clubs. They're more worried about kids getting radicalized on YouTube. These fucking pigs, these public servants with a badge and a gun, than they are about these fucking black people stealing cars, shooting people, and stabbing people. If you don't want a revolution, do your fucking job. You don't want a revolution? Start arresting the people that don't pay the taxes, don't follow the laws. It's enough to make anybody go crazy. It's enough to make anybody lose their minds. I'm sure that guy in Denver, Colorado, he was probably a normal guy. Probably thought I was some racist. Then a couple of thugs tried to steal his car 3 times. Different story. Different story. I'm sure that black guy that was drunk with his girlfriend in downtown Chicago after the concert, I'm sure he thought I was detestable. Until he was bleeding out on the sidewalk for no reason because some black bum kept giving him a dirty look and he decided to say something. And now you're dead and in hell. So what are you going to do now? Something's got to change. Something's got to change. And look at what happens. We elect Donald Trump, and what does he do? Crack down on anti-Semitism. Really? That's the problem in the country. Too much anti-Semitism.
Fucking A.
Tell that to all the rich, wealthy fucking Jews. That's the problem in the country. Too much anti-Semitism. What happens? Spill over into the country clubs? Spill over into the private clubs and country clubs? Spill over into the private jets and Academy Awards, Federal Reserve Governor's Board meeting? What the fuck? It's enough. And what they really fear is the people power. When are the white people going to form up and have a general strike? That's what they really fear. This country's going to hell. Supply chains are breaking down. Interest rates are going too high. Stagflation's imminent. We're going to have to pick one or the other. Oh, man, it'd be a real fucking shame, wouldn't it be, if all those white people stopped showing up to work? Wouldn't it be a shame if all this pig-sucking government was left with was Brandon Johnson's and Vivek Ramaswamy's? You know, because pill salesmen, pharmaceutical grifters, and hedge fund money changers, and black grievance artists, you know, they don't make the trains run on time. They don't deliver the food. They don't deliver the oil. That's white people that do that. That's law-abiding, tax-paying white people that do all that. It'd be a real shame if all the white people stopped showing up to work one day. What would happen to the critical infrastructure? What would happen to the supply chains? What would happen to the trade? What would happen to the cities? Oh, what would happen? It would be total anarchy? Oh, it's not much different than how it is right now. Well, just keep pushing. Just keep pushing people. Just keep pushing people. And watch how that value assessment starts to change. Watch how that risk-reward calculator starts to change. Something's got to change, man. Something has to be done. That's not a call for violence. The government needs to do its job. We can't keep voting for this. We need to form up politically. We need to get together politically. Call it a union. Call it the National Association for the Advancement of White People. Call it the Association of Patriots. Whatever you want to do. Something has got to change. We have to use the power of the people. We can't take it. It can't go on like this any longer. We all know something is wrong here. And we are being gaslit by people that hate us. Anyway, so that's that. But that's that. Look, something's got to change, man. And by the way, you know, look, I know it doesn't need to be said, but the brown people and the black people that agree with us, they need to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. I am perfectly willing to isolate the lawbreakers, the indolent. If a black person wants to stand next to me as a taxpayer and a patriot and recognizes a problem, let him. Something has got to be done about the invasion, about the illegal foreign labor. Something's got to be done about these opportunistic predators and thugs. Something has got to be done about this. There needs to be a coalition of the willing. You can deal with the demographic problem after that. We need as a coalition of the willing. Deport the illegals, close the border, throw these fucking thugs in jail, prosecute these corrupt politicians that have made this happen. You can deal with the demographic stuff later. That's a difficult question. We need now as a coalition of the willing to set these things right.
You're not gonna get it, bro. What the fuck? That's a hard toll you're gonna fucking ask people to do. Like they can't even fucking agree on fucking what is a woman. You know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna get those people that want the two gender thing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not gonna fucking happen. All right, that's why they're winning, because we're so broken. Fuck, man. If we could only unite, but our ideas keep us fucking so separate from what's really happening, and people are getting fucking rage baited all the fucking time. Rage baited all the time and distracting us. So fucking stupid, man. Let's see. Well, it is midnight. It's usually when I clock off the internets, but I will see if there's one more thing to look at real quick. Democrats attack Christians as trans shooter massacres kids. Democrats attack Christians? What?
Minnesota ranks the highest per capita for being a safe haven for transgender individuals in Minnesota. And
why is it so low?
can I just say, we can talk about economic growth and feeding children and growing the economy and creating jobs simultaneously with talking about everybody's human rights matters, and we shouldn't be demonizing that. You can do both.
Because let's be clear, this is life-affirming and life-saving healthcare. When our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
I am directly in front of the entrance to the school on Garfield Avenue and West 54th, right off of Lindale. And I have seen children leave the school with bandages on their arm. One child left with a bandage on his arm, raced to his mother for an embrace. It's clearly a very serious situation. We will not speculate on any details. What we know now is what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is an active police scene outside of the school. And I've seen 2 children leave with bandages on their arm. There's tons of concerned neighbors over here. I talked to one woman whose children did not go to this school, but she has a child who goes to Holy Angels. She says that this school, a lot of children go to high school at Holy Angels. It's a feeder school, and that she is just overcome with emotion seeing this happen in her neighborhood, her community, people she knows. It's a really emotional scene here for people who are looking on. I've seen very distraught looking people, potentially parents whose children attend this school. And I have seen police go in and out of the school here, again, at the entrance at West 54th and Garfield Avenue. At least a dozen ambulances blocking off the entire road. And just a very active scene and an emotional one for the parents and the families.
This is a trend. This is a trend of people attacking Christianity. Christianity has always been, throughout history, the most persecuted religion, and nothing has changed. And we as Christians got to stand up and we got to just start telling the truth. Like the fact, okay, am I wrong, or was this a trans shooter? So now we're seeing a pattern of trans, woke, crazy, mentally ill people violently attacking Christian, like targeting Christian schools and churches. This is the highest level of evil. This is Satan at work.
Wasn't the shooter that tried to kill Trump was a trans? I don't know. No, I don't think so.
Wasn't?
No, he's just a weirdo. You talking about Butler?
Butler? Nah, it wasn't. Nah.
But this is interesting because I'm not trying to paint that as like the fact that all transgender people are violent, but I think that this is something that should be highlighted as like there's a mental illness going on within this community, because this is a mass attack on children.
Yeah.
No mentally sane person will attack children or try to harm children. Children are innocent.
I have heard about a whole lot of hate that's being directed.
But we need the mental illness in our country has gone unchecked for far too long.
Way too long. And we can't, like, we draw the line at, oh, what if another trans person's offended? Forget that, bro. What if people die because of the mental illness that y'all affirm every day? This is why I really think that there is an evil agenda here by the elites, that people wanted things like this to happen. That's why they push mental illness on people and affirm people like this. This is a problem. This is evil, and I will not stand for it, not one day.
Obviously, this guy's a weirdo. Long hair, thinks he's a woman. He's a freaking weirdo. And I saw an Urban Dictionary term. I'm not going to say it because it might get us in trouble on YouTube, and I'm not trying to get in trouble on YouTube, but it describes people like him as people who have pornography addictions and are stuck on the internet too long to where they start identifying with these female people and they start calling themselves trans. And that in itself is mental illness. It's too much people online. It's too much people having all these unchecked mental issues. Like, these are the result of it. These are the people that we have to live amongst. That are freaking boilers.
Too much anti-gayism, gamitism. That's fucking hilarious, bro. What up, Connie? Yeah, I'm fucking hating the gays right now. I'm just kidding. It's not even the fucking gays. They're cool. Suck dick, whatever. I don't give a fuck. It's the fucking people that are shooting kids. That's the fucking weirdo part. And you know what the weirdo part is? I wanted to get this actually on my Instagram page. Hold on. The weirdo part is, hold on. Damn it, I hate that my fucking shit does that. One more thing that's kind of fucking weird. On Reddit, there's a channel. I'm not sure where it's at. I'm trying to find it. But there's a Reddit channel that's celebrating the shooting of the kids. All right? I think it's a bunch of trans people that are like saying equal rights. We got to fight for it. We're coming after your kids just to show how, like, we got to defend it. And we have to come after your kids who are getting indoctrinated by your religion. We're pretty much saying, like, they're going to kill the kids because we're indoctrinating them with our religion that's anti-trans. And they feel threatened by the future of their ideals coming out. So it's like, where is this Reddit page, bro? Where is this Reddit page channel? I want to see it. I want to see these people. I want to go in there and I want to see what the fuck is up. Because that shit's fucked up. You're celebrating the deaths of children? That's fucking crazy. That's crazy, bro.
I'm not sure where it's at. I'm trying to find it. But there's a Reddit channel that's celebrating the shooting of the kids. All right? I think it's a bunch of trans people that are like saying equal rights. We gotta fight for it. We're coming after your kids just to show how, like, we gotta defend it, and we have to come after your kids who are getting indoctrinated by your religion. We're pretty much saying, like, they're gonna kill the kids because we're indoctrinating them with our religion that's anti-trans, and they feel threatened by the future of their ideals coming out. So it's like, where is this Reddit page, bro? Where is this Reddit page channel? I want to see it. I want to see these people. I want to go in there and I want to see what the fuck is up. Because that shit's fucked up. You're celebrating the deaths of children? That's fucking crazy. One more thing that's kind of fucking weird. On Reddit, there's a channel. I'm not sure where it's at. I'm trying to find it. But there's a Reddit channel that's celebrating the shooting of the kids. Alright? There's a bunch of trans people that are like saying equal rights. We gotta fight for it. We're coming after your kids just to show how, like, we gotta defend it, and we have to come after your kids who are getting indoctrinated by your religion. We're gonna have to.
All right, Connie, I'm out of here, bro. This shit pissed me off today. But I think this is the new. No one cares about the video games. I gotta get good at the video game or something like that. But people like they get more engagement with the news stuff and the takes. So I guess people just like me talking more than playing games at this time. I mean, it's not much traction, right? But it's still traction. And I'm like, I didn't see any traction. I didn't see any motion when I was playing the video games, and I was like, damn. I really gotta just talk my shit. People like the unhinged takes that I do sometimes, I guess. But yeah, so I'm just gonna keep with that a little bit more, see if I get more engagement out of that, and we'll go from there. But I really do want to get to the gaming on stream too. I don't know how I'm gonna do it though, because people. So far, I hope that I could amass more people that like the gaming stuff. But I need to play more games, bro. Let me know when you're playing Apex or Fortnite or Marvel Rivals, or what's the Valorant? I never played that one. I need to download it, but I see that a lot. Like I could check on the Twitch tracker. Hold on, let me see. Twitch tracker. Let's see. Twitch tracker. Google. It's actually together. Twitch tracker. Oops, fuck. Alright, let's see. Search for streamer game. Okay, look. Concurrent streams, viewers, average, blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to find the games. Most popular games. is League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Grand Theft Auto, World of Warcraft, Valorant. Out of these ones, I think this one's free. I think League of Legends is free, but that would be like learning Heroes of the Storm all over again. I think I could do pretty good in it, but I'm like, I don't want to play that one. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure if, damn, in real life is really popular too. Dang, I want to get the big numbers, bro. I need to get the big numbers. Yeah, we'll figure it out one day. We'll get there slowly but surely. Well, I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'll be on at the same time. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out like the best format. Make the numbers first. Yeah, make the numbers first, and then we can take over the world. All right. Have a good night, brother. Peace. Fuck today, man.